And welcome to yet another one for Week of Dungeons and Dungeons. We wrapped up Waterdeep's arc, and now we are back inside the North. The Fanlin crew, last we met them, survived their encounter with Escott Grandier. Escott surprised them. To be fair, they were able to defeat Escott at the cost of Calgary, Mosnell, and Ulazal's lives. But with a 4% chance, Ulazal was able to be revived, then revive both Calgary and Mosnell. On their way back to the ship that Jaqueldon had in port waiting for them, Ralia used her gate stone to come back in to let them know that nature's hold had fallen and they were retreating to the frozen fortress in the north. With that, they went back to Pinman, where one of the wolf pack Cobalt Wolves captured in the Battle of Yin Yang was executed by Jarlax and decided he would join you all in your trip to the Frozen Fortress for this meeting. It was more required, less a decision for him to join at will. As they traveled across the north to the Frozen Fortress, home of the Frostborn, you guys ran into a frost giant, and it fell right off. So it's not a smooth transition, Justin. Belfina. Jesus, I'm gonna kill you guys for having so many names so similar. Belfina had an incredible perception roll and ended up stumbling across a frost giant, who also revived one of his allies after your group effort, and he went toward the meeting as well. About 2.5 to 3 years, I believe, he was frozen, that you all found out when the stone giants turncoated on the north to aid the Cobalt Alliance. Coming into the frozen fortress, you all saw what seems to be this massive castle, and the fortress almost insults the gravity of the walls and how uninviting this, I'd say, base of residence of the North is. It is as visually unappealing as it needs to be to survive these harsh northern winters up here. If you, again, look on your map in Legend Keeper, you can actually see a picture of the Frozen Fortress that gives you a really good idea, unless it's going to make me sign in again, thanks a lot, at what the Frozen Fortress looks like. You entered into the buildings and crossed the large bridge over one of the moving rivers in the north that have temperature so cold that you would get hypothermia within minutes if you were to fall in. And it's built into the side of a mountain as well, the Frozen Fortress, so nobody can just sneak up on it. You can't just climb over the mountain to get into it. It is one of the most secure castles and strongholds in all of the north. You guys entered into a packed room where Brian was happy to see you all, and at that, the group was now taken, with everybody else who was in the room, into a much grander hall. It seems to be a bit worn down over the years and has a very ancient look to it, but as you enter into this gigantic room, it's apparent to all of you that this is a room of the ancients that was used to disseminate laws. There are, I'd say, 6 or 7 different platforms raised up above a area below where people would plead their cases. There are these large circles that people would be able to stand with their groups and present their cases to the lords of the land that overreach it. The walls are hundreds of feet high. Inside here, it gives this immense feeling of how small you are in comparison to the vastness of the north, to the vastness of the mountains, and the vastness of the fortress. From each side, you see different northern houses taking their place inside these large circles, and some unfamiliar faces along with familiar faces as well. You notice the Timazing and other nobles and a couple northerners, including some sworn, are next to Seri Clovis and Avicia and Mace, which you saved along with some of the noble children during the Clovis uprising. There are northern houses you don't recognize inside here, and there are some strangers that you've never seen before that you don't recognize inside here. Brian is taking front and center of this massive hall that builds up, and there's a plentitude of these large statues of individuals in cloaked robes holding spears, very much Lord of the Rings-esque that you would see. Those gigantic sculptures are all around lining the walls inside here, giving spaces to the rooms that exit out. Banners of a frozen star is put all around as well, decorated and dusty. The colors have faded from the bright blues and blacks to grays. Brian finally taking center stage on a throne with all the advisors around. She motions for all of you to join her in her area as well in her house. So you can tell, again, they're split up by houses. Do you guys join her in where she sits?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Brian.
You guys make your way around, and you can hear this nervous tension in the air. The clanking of feet resonate throughout the halls and echo. As everybody takes their seats, the frost giants, now feeling a lot less claustrophobic, are inside the part that's sunken down and sitting. So their heads are basically at the same level as everybody else now, sitting above the platform you would look down to. Kane is present, as well as some of the lizard folk, and they are taking spots more on the walls and to the sides of the fortress at this point. Yeah, I read the wrong thing right there. Brian, King of the North, stands, and you hear her talk. I called to meeting the Northern Moot to decide whether we will continue this war or not. It has come to all of our attention that Escott Grandier continues to fight this war at all costs, no matter the odds. The Northern Houses have called this meeting as some are worried that we cannot win this war, and they would like to plead their cases and hear the rationales for continuing this plight. We will first see House. I will have it up in a second. Wrong page was up. Let me try this keyword search. How about this keyword search? There we go. House Reuven, looking over to one of the circles, one of the elves that stepped forward has golden skin, as some of the ones next to it have various full green skin tone to them, as they have their armors off and they're in normal clothes right now. The elf representing House Reuven begins to speak. We've all come to this meeting here not out of choice, but out of desperation. Once again, we are being pushed out of our homes to a point of no return. We have fought an unending war for over 2.5 years. Some of us have seen almost a full 5 years of conflict. This has to end. I ask each of one of you to think tonight before we vote, whether we continue this war or not, of the cost of this war. We have had staggering amounts of loss, and to both sides. And for what? to stop whatever quest this Escott Grandier is on? At what point is it better to live in a society, maybe cohabitat a society with the Kobold Alliance, than it is to incur such losses? We have had over 650,000 lives lost in this war, civilians included. The Cobalt Wolves, it's reported somewhere in the numbers of 400,000 of their soldiers have lost their lives in this war. And after Nature's Hold, our armies do not have the capability they once did. Even with the Northern Alliance, even with Waterdeep's help, as he motions toward an area which you now see Salem and Blackstaff and some of the Greyhand and Waterdeep guards. You see Salem in a state of shock as he's seeing all of you. It seems like he can't take his eyes off Mosnell and Ulazal in particular, and Calgary has joined him at his side during this, and he is slowly whispering information to Salem at this point. The house Raven continues. We have a leader. She has done well by us for many years, but with that comes worry. How can one stay so optimistic at such losses? With someone experiencing age this long, it calls into question her sanity to continue a war and to see an optimism at the other side of this. We have never seen any drow live this long. We have no idea what the effects are, and we have no way to prove that Brian or the King of the North, your grace, is in the right sense of mind at this point. It is something that I bring up with great concern to each and every one of you. How long will we go on continuing this facade of a defense against a force we cannot hope to defeat? 5 more houses dead at Pidman. How many more will it take? There's 10 of our great houses left. 10! Let that sink in. Nearly 40 5 years ago. And now we are 10. That is not leadership. To let so many suffer and so many die. This is slaughter. And I ask you to vote no in continuing this war. As he sits, there is a tension inside the room that continues to build between everybody, unease and discomfort. You notice next to you, where you all sit with Brine, is the Frostborn. And there is only 2 representatives there. A very short, looks like a halfling woman. And you see this large beast of a Goliath of a man. Both sitting there adorning the Frostborn symbols on their chests. They look unmoved by the first plea as another northern house stands. And Brian talks. It is now House Mendy's opportunity to make their case. You see a elder man step forward. He's got a little bit of hair left, but is balding he's quite well into his balding at this point. He has a little bit, it's like his entire, I forget what they call this now. it's a beard, but the one that just goes here. Goatee, thank you. Is completely white as he's adorned in his house's sigil of a sparrow. House Reuven makes well-made points, but points of fear. I ask all of you consider, where does it stop? We're pushed out of our homes for a cause we don't believe in, freedom we might compromise on, to a Kobold alliance of a foreign kingdom. When will it stop? What happens when our freedoms erode? When our way of life changes? Some of you may argue that is the evolution of life, that all great houses must adapt. And that's how we've survived in the past, as great houses have crushed their opposition. But is this an opposition we want to align ourselves with? Realistically, can any of you, after 30 of our brother and sister houses have been destroyed, coexist with the Cobalt Alliance? There have been immense sacrifices. And are they in vain? For each and every one of us that stays alive, and we dare surrender, we spit on their graves. We ruin their memories and their sacrifices. We have been blessed with some forces to fight against the evils of this Cobalt Alliance. We have the spirit of the forest on our side. And with that, you can hear some groans coming from different houses. And Brian has to gain order and calm everybody down at the mention of the spirit of the forest. We have had these new chosen show up and make all the world a difference. How is it that 40 ships can take on over 250, 300, maybe even thousands in one fell swoop in one night? It is because the gods favor us in this. Again, more sighs at any mention of gods during this war. I ask all of you to be reflective at this point in the war of our sacrifices, of how much we have come to try and defeat this. As Scott Grandier said, he killed 2 of the chosen. Yet here they stand. Why is it that he is touting this as a victory? Once again, he does not know all, and he is not all-knowing. As those that have been supposedly killed are back from the dead. That either means he's a liar and a coward who did not kill them, or these are truly chosen individuals. This is something to consider when you choose your sides. Whether you choose to fight or you choose to be subservient to a dictatorship, to totalitarians, to those that would sell you to the slavers of Minna. And then people start really getting rowdy as Brian goes, enough, all right. As House Meaty sits down, you can tell some of the things were very charged, and there might have been political positioning going on and jockeying during that sequence. The lords and ladies look to one another of the houses, and a little bit of discussion breaks forth. They exchange pros and cons to the war, and at one point, one of the houses goes, "What does the Chosen think? What do they have to say about the matter?" And another one cuts in, "Who cares what the Chosen think? They are but 6 people that don't even represent the North." And another house chimes in, "Well, they certainly have fought and died for the North, so I'd like to hear what they have to say." Brian looks to each of you and asks, you are free to discuss between yourselves before one of you makes a statement as to what your intentions are for the war. For my vote, I will take into account whether or not we continue this war based on whether or not you would like to continue this war. So you guys can talk while she says, "Let them discuss as we continue." And they continue discussing, so you guys have a moment to discuss whether or not you think it is worth continuing the war.
Fuck Ascot.
We're fighting.
Yup.
I certainly have nothing better to do.
Okay, it's decided then.
As you guys turn back to the floor, you see Blackstaff talking now. Not only a couple of days ago, a couple of moons ago, did we have the Great Cobalt Alliance try and break the walls of Waterdeep. As our resources are far more vast than the Northerns, we pushed them back. We pushed back their darkness, charading as light. And not only did we push back the Kobold Wolves, through my allies, we pushed back even the likes of the demons in which the Kobold Alliance has aligned themselves with. The devil himself, Asmodeus, was jockeying for positioning a stronghold in Waterdeep through the powers of the Kobold Alliance. And through those that I trust, that fight alongside everyone in Waterdeep, alongside your northern soldiers stationed there, we defeated them. And with relative ease, for they do not have the will or the strength to break Waterdeep or the kingdom of Whitland. The Open Lords will not bow to Escott Grandier, and when we joined your alliance, it was our understanding we were fighting until he falls, and there is no more Cobalt Alliance. And that is still our intention, and I would offer the lords and ladies of the northern houses this information. We are strong together. We have resources together. The Cobalt Alliance is running on fumes. They still have numbers, but numbers cannot endure time. Or she stands back. People acknowledge and more nods and shaking of the heads occur. Brian looks to you all. Do any of you, does a single one of you want to explain your position?
I can do that.
Excellent, Mosnell. I was hoping you would. As she goes to the floor, Mosnell will be representing the Chosen in their decision. As she then motions you forward.
Hello?
There's this echo, hello, inside here in this silence.
I am from the north, like you all. I might not be from a noble house, but this is my home. Now here in the north, we live free. But the Kobold Alliance will not allow that. This alliance of tyrants and slavers and criminals, we will not enjoy the lives we have as long as they're around. Now, Brian has my full confidence, and I would gladly lay down my life for her and for the North. And no matter what you choose, I will continue to fight. To what end?
There's a silence as you walk away, your position made. More discussions out and about. You can hear in one of the rooms that you walk through to get in here some discussions going on, and you hear some voices starting to raise as an individual comes through the door and closes and goes, "One of your requested guests are here, Northern lords and ladies, and your grace. They are growing impatient, but I have assured them once the meeting is over, you will take their time." And Brian motions to him, "Very good. I understand, but we must make this decision first before we make further decisions. So please be as hospitable as possible. Thank you." You see him give this nod and go back behind the door. During that interruption, you see a young woman with very dark skin come to the stand, joined by a young man with whiter skin. Excuse me, reverse that. You see a young man with dark skin and a young woman with lighter skin. Very plain robes. Both have colors of, what was it? One is reds and purples, and the other is, I believe, blues and silvers. As they take the stand, the boy talks first. Between all of you, it looks like they can't be more than 22, 23 years old. They seem extremely young to be in this meeting, and they are standing in the area with Seri Clovis and Tamazing and the others. I see each and every one of you debating. House is trying to make a decision, and whether or not this war is worth it, or if this is a hopeless cause. Many of you that seem to want to leave this fight do not understand the fight you are in. You have not seen Escott Grandier. You have not watched him poison your family, poison your friends. I once had a home. I can never return to my home. Escott Grandier has changed the great city of Lianzhou. The people in Lianzhou are forever changed. Slaves, rumors of torture and great beasts. My father is rolling in his grave. And you dare give up on this fight. You are cowards if you dare not stand in front of Escott Grandier in this Cobalt Alliance. If you are so blind or so fearful for your lives, go join him. Go fight with him. For he is an evil that will never stop. It will never be enough. You do not know loss like I know loss. I understand your need to try and hold on to what you have. But he will take it. If you appease him, he will take it. As he stops, the girl begins to talk. I still dream of my home. I dream of my city. I dream of a free Tendorf someday. It is through efforts of good people. People who had no business sticking up for us, saving our lives when Escott Grandier murdered all the royal families of Freya. They knew what was right and wrong, and I implore you today to understand what is right and what is wrong. To give up is wrong. Before you exhaust all your options, it is wrong. To side with this murderer is wrong. And I ask you, for my city, for my people of Tendorf, to consider liberation, consider freedom, consider fighting. As she pulls back, more discussions continue, and finally Brian puts her hand up and goes, "Enough! We cast our votes."
Forgive me. It doesn't change our position, but I would like to have a word.
You see Brian look, does anybody object to one of the chosen giving his views? Nobody objects. You're free to have the floor.
I step forward.
Okay.
My friends and I have had a long path to make it here. But my path did not start with them. I look at the girl that was just speaking.
Mm-hmm.
6 years ago, I lived in Tengdorf. I lived there for 4 years. I ran with the group that was trying to dismantle the wolves from the inside. I saw Scott and how he worked before all this. What you see, his message of unity, that is all a facade. That is not real. He is not a message of unity. He is a message of fear. He does what he needs to stay in power, which he's losing. We fought him. My comrades died against him and have come back. And while we didn't defeat him completely, we did take away one of the sources of his power. He is not invincible. He can be beaten. But not only this, he shed some insight as to his own motives. This is not the storm. Them trying to take over the land. This is the preparation for it. He is afraid of something that is coming. And while I don't know exactly what he was talking about, he gave me a hint from what he cryptically relayed. And based on my conversations with the water deep, is it the gray hands? I've in my own experiences, I've started to put together a bit of a picture that he is not the end game. There is something beyond Escott that is coming. And then I lift my arm and I pull the sleeve down.
Mm-hmm.
There is madness. And he is not the one that is going to protect us. We need to unify as a world to face a truer threat.
Give me a persuasion check. Bellona, give me a wisdom saving throw.
What?
Oh, this shit again.
23.
Nice. Nice. That changes things. I just had to roll initiatives for
18.
everyone ever. 18.
Yep.
Good to know.
Oh. God, I hate this thing.
Sometimes it feels like somebody's watching me.
I meant to do that, by the way, a while ago. So that.
And then just with that final word, I just drop my arm, I pull my sleeve up.
Okay.
And
Thank you, Eri. It is time for our votes.
Can I give him a covert fist bump as he comes back?
Yeah, easy.
I'll give him a pat on the back.
The houses begin standing up. The first up is House Reuven.
Oh, these fuckers.
House Reuven votes no. We do not continue the war.
Oh, I'm so surprised.
Sits down. House Mindy stands up. We vote yes. We continue the war.
I like those guys.
You sit down. Next one. House Isenbull votes no. We do not continue the war.
I never liked them anyway.
You see an orc stand up. House Kogbin votes yes. We continue the war.
I knew I liked that guy.
I'm gonna just giggle after every one of Mazel's comments.
House Brainier votes we continue the war.
Oh,
As Jarlax sits back down.
great guy.
A tiefling stands up.
Mm.
House Arlix votes we do not continue the war.
Gosh.
Awful.
It's 3 of 3.
A lot of dead houses. I'm scrolling a lot here.
Before the next one, I want to whisper to Masnal. Now, before they vote, which one is this, good or bad?
Let me think about it.
House Kotlak votes we continue the war.
Oh, they're a great house.
Why?
They're fantastic.
Right.
Just so many houses, I gotta keep them straight.
Another one stands. House Value votes we do not continue the war.
Oh, they're not of much value, are they?
Yeesh.
You see with one of the frost giants talk. You all bicker. He's also talking in giant, by the way. So only those in giant understand. Between one another about only 10 houses staying in this fight. We have House Frost still waiting to return to battle that was robbed from us from the stone giants. House Frost will fight with or without a war.
Oh, love these guys so much. I'm with them.
It is now the 10th house vote, as the Frostborn can tie it before Brian's vote. They have made almost no emotion so far, the two Frostborn that have been sitting here representing them in the north. The woman stands up, and as she's talked at length about the resource issues that have been going on up here, as about 3 million people are trying to live in the Frozen Fortress and how unsustainable that is. You hear her in a deep, booming, and assertive voice. House Frostborn continues to fight this war.
Oh,
And she sits back down.
they gotta be awesome with a name like Frostborn, you know? It's just...
They make the wine.
Yes.
Brian stands. House Chaluza votes to stay in this war.
Did she say House Chalupa?
And with that, it is decided we stay in the war.
Oh.
That is 7 votes. Was it? It was 6 votes to 5? 11 houses. No, 7 to 4. 7 votes to 4.
Get wrecked.
You see much yelling and banter back and forth as finally the tension erupts, but settles down as they will follow. As the 4 dissenting houses, each of them stand and say, "We will honor this decision, as foolish as it may be," as they go back. And all right. With that, we have our next order of business. We hear from the representative of Skolba their intentions of this war. The door, as she motions, the doors open.
Oh shit!
And in
Trying to
walks,
pull my hood up.
a Valkyrie of Skoberheim.
Oh god.
This is awkward.
Each of you who have been to Skoberheim, feel your stomachs churn. Ari in particular recognizes this as one of the Valkyries that cut down that individual in the alleys the night you were in Skoberheim in one fell swoop. As the Valkyrie comes alone into the center of the area. So now she's in the place down where the frost giants are, everyone looking down onto her. Brian begins talking to her. We appreciate Skoba and the capital Skoberheim's willingness, as well as your grace, Lord King Mordecai, Seeker, allowing you to express your position inside this endeavor against the Cobalt Alliance. We inquire for your aid, your resources to take down a threat that will soon be at your borders. What is the will of the people of Skoba? The Valkyrie looking at Brian, but then looking daggers toward Ulazal, who she locked onto almost immediately when walking into here. Out of respect, Skoba has answered your cause. But I see you are in the ranks amongst murderers. Regardless of this new-found information, Skoba's position remains unchanged. It is the will of our king that each of you living in sin die in sin. Let you consume each other in your false ways, with your heretic beliefs of false idols and made-up deities. Skoba has no interest in your wars. It has no interest in your sides. But it does have interest in justice that will be served. Whatever the end of this conflict is, Corlin will be swift to each and every one of you. And it is of my personal request that you turn over these murderers amongst your midst to the people of Skoba for a proper trial at which they escaped, causing a civil war to occur inside our city. As voices, as people start mumbling to one another, and you can actually hear.
You guys caused a civil war.
You can hear Jarlax close enough to you guys going. They could have just said a letter to say no. This was this is by far more insulting.
Oh, fucking Mordecai, that motherfucker.
You see Brian raise her eyebrow. I was unaware you got to make demands in the north, in a foreign kingdom. You think with such disrespects, you would have the wherewithal to know your place and leave once it was over. One of your sisters fought and died for the Cobalt Alliance. At our hands, she was brought to a swift death. So do not parade around here with some divine power, like you're better than any of us up here. We ask for your help not out of desperation, but out of pity for what will become of your people if Escott continues to grow more desperate. You're dismissed. The Valkyrie looks and gets one last word in. Death follows each of my sisters that dare speak against the god, the one true god Corlin. As she turns and leaves, she gives one more glance back to you, Ulazal, before the doors close behind her.
Well, that was needless.
Is my memory like wrong, or was there? Didn't we already have a trial? What was she even talking about?
Yeah. You are not incorrect.
There was a trial. We got exiled. Can't go back. Boom. Done. Now she wants us to come back and go to another trial. This is. I don't. What is this?
It's hard to talk sense into people who.
Oh my God! I forgot how much I hated that place. Oh, oh my God! I'm glad we're exiled. We're never going back there. Let's stay in the north forever. It's way better here. Oh God! Hate that place. They can keep it.
Next, you see the individuals that were standing near Sari Clovis and her group. They make their way down for the next order of business. Brian stands up and she goes, "We now hear the requests of a representative house of the Clovis Kingdom, representing the surviving houses of the Clovis government." Matt Mercer's in my head so hard with the Clovis Concord that 4 times I'm like, don't say Concord, don't say Concord, don't say Concord. Jesus. Okay. You see this individual looks Asian in his appearance. He is ripped. Like his biceps got biceps. This dude is swole. And his the robes he has on are of these purples and blacks. And as he walks down, he walks with this presence about him that for someone so muscular, there is this grace about him that suggests he is far quicker than he lets on. He has a control about him with every movement that seems like everything is calculated as he approaches the floor. First off, I would like to thank the North for their hospitality and the Frostborn for their vigilance over our royal family. It is with the greatest respect that the Lin Ryu have come to see our families unharmed, unhurt, save a few of our children. We ask that you return our royal families for us to rebuild our worlds as a madness has covered the land of Jalasia. The great kingdom of Clovis has fallen to the madness of a people's alliance of anarchy. This cannot be continued. We cannot dare live in a world that is being swallowed up by the insanities of those we see around us. The animals are restless, the people are restless, and there is desperation in every great city now that there is no order. We ask that you return our family so we can once rebuild the great kingdom of Clovis. Brian steps forward and she goes, To my knowledge, there is nothing keeping the nobles here. They are not our prisoners. And she looks over to the Frostborn, and the female who stands again goes, They have been free to go at any point. They will always have a home as long as they can work. As she sits back down, you see the leader now turn with a raised eyebrow towards Sari Clovis. Give me a moment to zoom out on my map. Gotta get the name. Up too high. Believe it's here. Yep. Sari looks down. Honorable Haru Lin Ryu of the House Ryu. Of the House Lin Ryu. I thank you for making the trip over the maw of the world to come collect us, to aid us. You are one of the few noble families, one of the few honorable families that ran the Clovis kingdom. You know for a fact that those that were my brothers and sisters that I mourn, they were not good people. There was a reason people took at the first chance they could to kill them. I know this is not how you operate, and I know your family has struggled to understand the people's reasons for hating many in my family. But I do not feel that we belong in Jalasia anymore, or in Clovis. This has been expressed to me by both Evicia and her house, and Mace and his house. It does not seem right. It does not seem to be our position to try and walk back into a world that has so rejected us. So I appreciate your kindness, Honorable Haru Lin Ryu. But it is our wishes not to return. You seem a bit taken back, but still calculate it. It's not a face of shock, but just almost like another gear is clicked into place. Almost like in code, you know, the if-then statements, we just jump to a new function. I was interested to see if that would be your response. The remaining families of Clovis have no known or recognized nobility among the People's Alliance. They have no home, as you say, if you are not there to continue. If it is your will to live here, then it is my next request of this Northern Alliance and Northern Lords to allow the people of Clovis to relocate here into your lands. As some discussion starts bickering out and about, one of the lords earlier that raised the golden elf that raised the concerns leans forward. And how do you propose we could sustain an influx of your people when resources are dire need at this point? We do not have the means to sustain your people, and yet you wish to push another burden upon us. That's a request I don't understand how you could ever entertain unless you have something to offer. He returns his look. You misunderstand me. It is not that we offer, that we are only seeking shelter in your kingdom. We offer the forces of the Lin Ryu. If you are proven honorable in combat, given the many opportunities, I imagine we can find a situation in which we can see your valor and we can dedicate our cause to your kingdoms. It is the hopes of the nobility that they will be recognized among each of you as houses, and that you will treat them as equals if you were to accept them. More discussion starts going, and then another one of the families stand. This seems to be a moment of great opportunity given to us by what would be the graces of the Queen of Clovis now. Someone that, may I remind you, was only here because of the Chosen. That only survived because of the Chosen. May I remind you, nobles that died at the hands of the Cobalt Alliance. This is what I was hoping we would come to see. This is what we need to do, is build unity. I motion that we not only accept this offer, but we recognize them as leaders of holds. The cities of Tendorf, of Neverwinter, and of Lianzhou are in need of leadership. The prince and princess, now king and queen of Lianzhou and of Tendorf, could use the political aid and knowledge of the three nobles that helped lead the kingdom of Clovis. With their insights, it is in my mind, there is nothing that could bring the people back together with such incredible kindness and with such great vision. As he sits down. More yelling, more discussion, and finally a vote. As they vote, the House has come to accept help from Jalasia in the Lin Ryu. It is basically a landslide vote of 10-1. One family, the one family is not the ones that have been objecting. It was actually one of the ones that voted yes to continue the war. They seem to have been distrustworthy of, it was one of the human families as well, of foreigners.
Ugh, humans.
With that said, one of the individuals, the original family that posed all the problems, and again, Rose goes, "How many soldiers do you dare? Or how many soldiers do you have to aid us in our next endeavor?" As that's what they start discussing, what their next movement forward is going to be. It's decided that they are going to strike back, and as a show of unity and trust with this alliance, they are going to march and take the city of Neverwinter. Haru looks to Brian as this discussion goes, and he is now acknowledged in one of these circles and brought up to one of these circles. He stands with Sari and all them. The Lin Ryu alone will be contributing to your first front in our first unified assault. 60,000 of our strongest warriors. You can expect 10,000 in reinforcements within every month from the other families as they come. What you northerners might not know is the Lin Ryu are a proud family. We are responsible for all the trading routes throughout Jalasia. We keep order throughout the entirety of the kingdom that is rumored by your map makers to be double or triple the size of your kingdom. We are kind, we are honorable, and we wish to bring such resources and judgment to your lands in this newfound unity of friendship. You see the other king go, or not the other king, but the other house leader. You should have led with 60,000, that is all, as he sits back down. All right, then it is decided. Chosen. It is of great interest to this council what your choice will be. There are many things that still need to be done. We have discussed that there is a possibility of a small operation to Lianzhou. Led by the Grey Hand, they hope to break and enter into Lianzhou to try and recover the Palantir and whatever dark forces that are slumbering there. We could also use your aid in the assault, tactically, on Neverwinter. Or if there is something else that some divinity is telling you to pursue, we'd be all ears for that as well, as you seem to have an ability to show up at the right time in the right place. So you guys first discuss among yourselves before you make a public statement, as your DM is now done with a very long intro, but that is through the Moot, and that was only so long because of all your successes and failures throughout the entirety of the Northern Arc. Certain things would not have happened if you didn't save people, if you didn't make alliances, if things didn't happen. You got a lot of boons and bonuses because of all the decisions you made.
I want to do two
Get
things.
the best ending though.
What's that?
The true ending.
Oh, the true ending. Yeah.
Is that
Did
the
we get
true-
the best
We have to
ending?
restart. And
We gotta go back. We gotta go back. We
You got a
missed one thing.
mostly good
You gotta
ending.
go find all the sparks.
It's mostly good. There's just a few allies you really fucked off. Unsurprisingly, one of them. I'm sure you can guess which ally is definitely not your fucking ally.
Cobalt
Is it-
Alliance.
It is
Yeah, right.
definitely the Cobalt Alliance. And definitely Scober.
Oh, what's wrong with Scober?
Fuck those guys anyway.
They're so uptight. They're like Corlin's one true god. Meanwhile, we're literally just doing all sorts of divine stuff. Like,
Oh, they
excuse me?
think they're so self-righteous. Fuck them anyway.
I know, right? They're like, oh, we're above war. Meanwhile, they have a civil war. Like, where's the logic? What are you talking about?
All you sinners and all that bullshit.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they're out there sinning. Like, what?
Exactly.
Makes no sense.
Exactly. They're the worst.
That just reeks of hypocrisy.
Oh.
Yeah,
So
it's a stench.
we had a lot of stuff that we could have done, right? We had there were a couple of cities. At one point, we had just a list.
Yeah. Again, there's a list for the Waterdeep crew last week. This one is coming to become less and less because you guys have done a lot. There is Mosnell's personal journey, because he now knows the location of his mother and the fire giant that kidnapped her. You guys know about the Palantir that is being held at Lin Zhao and all the stuff going on there. What do you know about Lin Zhao? Because I don't want to spoil something. I believe I told you.
You have not told us much. We know it's a heavily fortified fortress.
Yeah.
Palantir is somewhere there.
Anything else there? I swear I told
Frostfire
you.
said we would find some sort of secret to Escott Grandier there.
Yeah.
The Linra, you were from there.
They are not from there.
I lied to you.
They are from Manco. You can actually go on the Jalasia far west, and there's a whole long write-up about the Lin Ryu family and their clan.
Bro, my next character's gonna be one of them. They're so cool.
They are
They
super dope.
They're super sick.
Anybody know who the obvious name is? The inspiration for them?
Lin Ryu? I don't know. Street Fighter Ryu?
Mortal
Bruce Lee?
Kombat. Scorpion is from I think it's the Shin Ryu, and oh my God, who's his enemy with the ice?
Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero is from the like the Shin Ryu. So
Oh.
I took the first name of Scorpion and the last name of Sub-Zero's clans and put them together.
Oh.
If that's any indication of the people that they are.
Do they look like Scorpion or Sub-Zero?
Haru looks a fuck ton like Sub-Zero and Scorpion, especially bicep-wise.
Yeah.
I was preparing the Daily.
That's awesome.
You can aid in Neverwinter. You can try to infiltrate Nature's Hold for any reason. That's totally on board. You can go to Waterdeep and figure out what's going on there if you have any interest there.
Let's go to
Murder
Tendor.
the other party.
You guys have... you
Oh.
can go to go try and track down Readoff. That is an open mission as well.
That would be hilarious if we did it
Is that a
before.
mission for both parties?
Yeah, it can be. It's not necessarily needed. For you guys, it's not pressing since he's stabilized. But you guys do know if you find Readoff, that might help you with Eve. And you guys would love to have a level 20 cleric.
Yeah. I was going to talk to Kane and ask where she is, what happened to her, because
You can do all this talking, by the way. Like, we can retroactively say it during the many discussions that have occurred over the past, 4 hours of dissemination between all the families. It just was a lot easier if you guys knew all the exposition beforehand.
Sure.
So you can approach Kane
Oh boy.
and have tongues. And Kane is over by the fireplace with all the other lizard folk that are there, as this place is freezing, and they're all by the only warm source inside. You see Kane, he's happy to see you, and he's just like, good to see you, Mosnell. I wish it was on better terms.
I agree, but it's nice to be in the north, though.
Always is. It's freezing here. Is it always like this? Is it always this cold?
Oh yeah, it's great.
I think we're gonna die if we stay here, Mosnell.
Oh, not great. Oh, that's not good.
So, I'm just putting that out there. We'll figure that out, but definitely right here, not a permanent thing. I thought I'd let you know your home's really pretty, but I'm certain it's killing us. As he keeps looking over to one of the sick ones, that's just like, I'm dying. And you see the shaman, which was the Oracle, I believe. He's just like, shut up, and he just keeps hitting him in the head. Drama queen.
The drama queen. Well,
Mosnell, can you ask him about Eve and how she's doing?
Sure. Ulazal and all of us would like to know how Eve is holding up.
You see him just sort of calm demeanor to him, almost like a acceptance. And he looks, Eve's not doing well. She's as stable as she can be. I did my best to get her up here in one piece, but her arms and legs are back thanks to Ulazal. He looks to Ulazal and slams his hand on your shoulder and he's like, it's helpful, but she is not awakened. She seems to be in some sort of this coma from whatever this madness is that has plagued so many of us. It's disappointing, and I hope she wakes up someday. I miss her. And the world's really confusing without her. So, that's not grand. I don't know how long she's got, but your buddy Ari woke up. Our buddy. So maybe she'll wake up one day.
She's tough. She'll wake up.
Or she won't.
I mean, those are the two options, I guess.
Yeah.
Now, this is the same type of sickness that Ari is experiencing, and I tried to remove curse on that once.
Yeah.
You got bopped
I did get bopped.
by some evil.
If I tried something more powerful, do I think that would do any good, or is it the kind of thing that's just not going to go anywhere, that has to run its course?
Make a medicine check.
Medicine check. All right.
Yeah, you're a cleric.
That is a 23.
Probably not gonna work.
Dang it.
Despite the
That
spells,
was pretty evil.
you feel
Plot
like
armor.
this stuff is definitely above your pay grade, but maybe Tyr's divine intervention could help out.
Oh.
What time of day is it?
It's mid-afternoon. It's probably getting to about 4 o'clock. People
How often can you do that? Once a day?
are starving.
If it succeeds, once a week. If it fails, once a day.
Ah.
Does she
Every day. Every day.
Is she like asleep, or is it like a coma kind of? Which I guess is, I don't know how to describe
What's the difference?
that. Right.
The
yeah,
difference
like
is it's distressed sleep. They're still sweating. There's shaking that occurs. It seems like
she's
she
not,
is
like,
unstable.
conscious.
Yeah, and she's not
No.
conscious by any means. You can't communicate with her.
Okay.
Oh, he's about to. Power of dreams.
All right.
Yeah.
We decide we're all gonna go in her mind.
Uh-oh, it's
I
a
mean-
Harley Quinn
and-
episode.
It's like Inception.
Astral projection.
Yes.
So what do you guys want to decide? I mean, continue discussing all that because I'll also offer. No, yeah, go ahead.
I want to do two things.
Yes.
One, I'd like to cast Sending
Yeah.
to Ophelia.
To who?
Ophelia.
Yes.
Ophelio.
Hey. Did you manage to scrounge up some allies for us? I don't know, to about the tune of 60k troops.
I see you met Haru of the clan Lin Ryu. I hope he gave you my best regards.
I'll introduce myself afterwards.
All right.
Awesome.
Who's Ophelio?
Ophelia is
Ophelia.
Old friend.
is a character that was met in the Within the Shadows one shot. She was the one that had the expedition to save the endangered species. That Ignatius and I believe Zeph was with that group as well at one
I
point in the
think so.
meantime. And then there was also another drow swashbuckler.
Right.
This one.
Should have been there. Cool. I'll keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will offer up just a little question / prayer to the old mug this guy up there,
Sure.
and just sort of ask, whither does this next hunt go?
Are you casting any spell? Is this anything? Or
No,
just a general
no.
prayer?
Just general prayer, rolling for, I guess, divine intervention, I suppose, as of like, you should do this.
Okay, go ahead and roll divine intervention then.
Is that percentage die?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it has to be below
Yeah.
your level. Equal to or below your level, which I believe is 13.
Yep.
It is. You are 100% correct.
So you have a 13% chance. Is this God telling me what
I
to do?
rolled,
Or the DM?
69.
Nice.
Nice, but not
Yeah.
what we're looking for.
Nice.
As Bellona takes out some water and you pour it from like your canteen into another canteen as you watch the water shimmer. No message right now. The hunt doesn't come to you.
His inbox must be full.
What if I used my hero action to do it again?
You could.
You could.
You could.
Oh, hero
I
action.
will do that.
Okay. Go ahead and roll percentage die. As I get this
91.
hero action table. I believe a 91 might actually help you.
Are you serious? I was just trolling.
Like an extra
Gain
action.
another attack
Yeah.
action or insight into solving the desired conflict.
Oh.
Yeah, it's part of the characters now.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, no, it's
I
cool.
was just trolling.
okay. Do it again.
Yeah, as you you shuffle it again.
Didn't feel right.
As you say the prayer and focus up, you can hear the hunt beating within you. Your mind settles onto I just got a weird email, sorry. Oh, okay, that's a different spot. Okay, cool. Sorry. It's fine. Weird email. Fuck. That really took me out of it.
Fuck.
It's bad phone. You're going upside down now. You feel again those like drum beats from the hunt as you're pouring the water back and forth. The world sort of goes black to you, and you're taken back to the shores of Yin Yang as you were pulling up that spear, and you could just hear that beat and that chant inside your mind. And as the waters are going back and forth, you see the shimmering of battlefields. You see a city under siege, and you see yourself fighting at that city as you continue to push the waters back and forth. You also see yourself with cloaks of individuals moving through the snows up toward this gothic-looking fortress. And as you finish up, you get this sense of direction that the path forward is certainly within the options you've heard tonight. It's not a clear path forward, but definitely the hunt follows both.
Okay.
As the rest of you just see like Bellona being like a little psychopath, putting water back and forth.
So what are we gonna do?
Either option is fine.
Oh, and
Yes.
also find a weakness to Escott Grandier. That's another thing you can do as well.
Yeah,
Which
That's going to
is-
be discussed as well following your
There
guys'
is-
decision.
there is a timetable we need to try and prolong because there is something in this frozen fortress that is a direct hint to his power.
That's right. And then was there also one in Leon's?
Oh, Larry, are you okay?
Sorry.
Is the madness happening again?
No.
I didn't know if like a
offensive to
sneeze was
bird
like a
culture.
trigger.
Was there also a hint to
In Lian
Escott
Zhao as
and
well.
Lian Zhao?
Both
So-
Lian Zhao and the frozen fortress held answers.
That's another reason to go there.
Not answers to his to defeating him specifically was my question.
Yes.
Give me an intelligence check for Aerie.
This
I'm gonna
is
roll a
straight
2 for
intelligence.
Yeah.
Ha!
11.
Okay.
Actually,
You could
I'm
use
gonna
Timora's luck.
I'm gonna use Timora's luck to see if that helps.
That's a 20.
Natural 20 for a 22.
God damn it.
Yes. Thank you, Timora.
As you are discussing this conversation, it begins to dawn on you that the storm giants have predicted already one of the downfalls to Escott Grandier. Your presence here and what has resulted has just caused the balance of the soldiers to flip. Last you knew, they had more soldiers, the Kobold Alliance, than the Northern Alliance. Even though Waterdeep was strong, they didn't have enough numbers to tip the scales. With the new alliance, the Kobold, with the new alliance with Clovis, the Kobold Alliance is now outnumbered.
So gaining allies. Rule number 2.
Hmm.
Okay.
And potentially, I'd say to that too, that might have been the biggest key out of your information from your perspective with a natural 2022 of what you want to get out of the Frozen
So,
Fortress. Running
the
around
Frozen
here looking for
Fortress-
something secret probably isn't going to show up.
So it wasn't like
Oh, no,
track
it
down the
was-
library for a hidden tome. It
Nope.
was all the actions that led to us being here. Was
Oh,
the
they're so
It was your
smart.
persuasion check as well that really helped turn some of the houses into vote as well. So this meeting gained alliances and was what was hidden within the Frozen Fortress.
okay.
We're chosen.
That's like
Mhm.
3 of the things: gaining allies, supporting the North, answers at the Frozen Fortress. Bam.
Big meeting.
Huge plan.
Been planning this shit since before the Clovis encounter.
All right. So I mean that really. So Lianzhao is really would be the next goal in terms of
That
finding.
was cool.
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
Yeah. So if are you saying any of this to us, or are you keeping?
I'm
it
just,
to
I'm thinking, I'm pondering it, and
Out
I'm
loud, okay.
mentioning how
I'm agreeing.
Well,
I
if-
think it's our actions that led us to being here that fulfilled that side of the storm giant's prophecy.
If that's the
Astute
case,
observation area.
yeah.
Very astute.
So
Yeah,
either
I-
option is going to be beneficial for us in the war. Neverwinter will be a stronghold, and that'll get us closer to Phandalin, which is another potential ally. Leon's,
Wouldn't they be fighting a two-front war at that point? If we can get that stronghold?
yeah, because we'd be from the north and from the west.
That might be our best option then, tactically.
Actually, no, that you make a very solid point there. If we take Neverwinter, we potentially gain Phandalin, especially with us at their side. We gain Phandalin, we gain the Forge.
And it would open up supply routes from, I would assume, Waterdeep all the way up to
That would it
Neverwinter
opens
at least.
at least a pathway.
Yeah.
Where's Lianzhao?
Lianzhao is like
Border
south.
middle.
There
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
like south and a little bit of east of.
Okay, I see it. It's on the map.
Yeah.
Nature's Hold.
All right. Yeah. So it's right below. It's basically right below the border of Jinzhou.
So if we were to take Neverwinter, we'd have a two-front assault on Lianzhao
Neverwinter.
instead of trying to sneak in.
What else? Neverwinter.
But if we
almost
go to Lianzhao first and sneak in, if we can acquire that plant here and get out, that is a huge tactical advantage that they lose.
I almost wonder if it would be more advantageous to go into Lianzhao quietly rather than with a full frontal assault. Because with a full frontal assault, they'll consolidate their forces and have more powerful enemies to defend whatever secrets lie therein.
Yeah.
Whereas if we sneak in, we might catch them unaware.
They did mention that the Lianzhao mission was supposed to be small, and Lianzhao is a lot closer to Neverwinter, so we can go to Lianzhao on the way to Neverwinter.
Two birds with one stone.
Mm-hmm. Instead of going all the way over here and backtracking, we can do Lianzhao. And the Storm Giants mentioned Lianzhao, not Neverwinter.
Sure, that's true.
And look what we accomplished today here in the Frozen Fortress, where they said we would find something important. Allies, 60,000 men. I think Lianzhao should be our first stop.
The most important thing for that, though, is we need a guaranteed way to get out quickly.
I might be able to do something about that. If we are able to acquire a way to either set up a temple, or we could plane shift. I could word of recall. I could plane shift. Ralia, do you have any means of teleportation?
I do. Have I seen a teleportation circle in the Frozen Fortress at all?
No, not yet. And you get the sense from the Nature's Hold battle that teleport circles are in. People aren't happy with them because that's how people got into Nature's Hold. So most of them have been cut off and destroyed as they're taking every precaution so they don't get a surprise attacked again.
I can definitely get us out, but it might not be where we want to go.
Are there other resources available of our allies that could get us in and out, maybe? We do have powerful friends now, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if anyone has an attunement fork. Can I start asking around the?
Hey, you got an attunement fork?
Like a fucking beggar.
Hey, no, I'm asking for somebody who would know about that kind of thing.
Go ahead and give me a wisdom check to see if you can get a feeling for
You
who
got a
you should
fork
be
laying
asking.
around?
Straight wisdom,
Yeah.
20.
Yeah. There's a couple court mages. You're able to go over to house mages. You have discussions with them. They almost. They don't laugh at you, but the idea is just like, damn, I wish I had. Yeah, I would love that. You let me know when you find a tuning fork, and so I can get a tuning fork as well. That's the general sentiment, that they don't seem to have all that. You also get the sense that the black staff probably has one, but it's up to you whether or not you want to approach her to try and get a tuning fork.
Yeah, I'll try. I'm not.
Sure. You approach the black staff, and she turns, and she's just like, "Oh, hello, Ulizal Uto."
Blackstaff is a pleasure to see you. Me and my comrades were discussing means of achieving our next actions, and if we're to do what we're going to do, we're going to need a means of hasty escape. I have the capability to shift between planes, but I don't have the material components required to do so. Would you or anyone in Waterdeep have such materials? I'm more than willing to front the cost or do whatever needs to be done, but we need to do everything we can to ensure that this mission is a success.
Sell your soul.
This is very important. It sounds like, what do you plan to do? We have very limited supplies, and only my most trusted and highly skilled mages have access to the few tuning forks we have.
We plan to strike at the heart of the beast. We hope to sneak into Lianzhou and discover whatever lies therein and find some kind of secret to Escott's power, and hopefully find a way to destroy it and learn more about it.
That is direly important. The bad news is I can't get any of the tuning forks, our best tuning forks, to you immediately. The good news is we do have one that'll be good enough for maybe 1 to 2 uses.
That's all we would need it for.
She looks over towards an individual in gray robes, and you hear her call over, "Toyleaf, could you come here for a second?" As you see this half-elf approach you. He holds himself with this pride around him, and you feel this like electricity around his very being as he comes over, and he's just like, "Yes, Blackstaff. Do you still have one of the tuning forks on hand that we were experimenting with?" And he goes, "Yes, there you are." As he hands it to her, and he goes, "Maybe 1 or 2 more uses out of that." And she goes, "I know. It's going to see, hopefully, great use." And he smiles and he goes, "I certainly hope so." As he returns back to the Grey Hand, as Calgary and Salem are in deep discussion with Tamazing, who is doing all sorts of like, "You won't believe, brother, what's been going on up here?" And they're like, "Uh-huh."
Twirleaf's in the Gray Hand now?
As Blackstaff gives the tuning fork over to you.
Ari appears like he suddenly has an idea and walks over to
Okay.
as Waterdeep people. I kind of turn, kind of like at both Blackstaff and Salem at the same time.
Yeah.
Is there a sanctuary of Tyr in Waterdeep?
I believe there is. Salem? You see Salem is just like, he walks over to, he goes, yeah, there's definitely a sanctuary of, how are they alive? How are they alive? What happened? How is, Calgary tells me you died. You died.
We'll get to that later.
You see him just like, ah!
Because my friend Ulazal, you mentioned something, and it sparked a little thought in my head. You said you might be able to move us quickly if we had a place dedicated to Tyr.
Yeah. You know what? I'm almost certain there's a sanctuary in one of the districts. And he tells Blackstaff, and Blackstaff goes, oh, I've been there many times. I could teleport you there and back.
Come to think of it, there's a sanctuary of fear very well known to me in Neverwinter.
If it's still there.
The condition it's in.
You also have to have cast the spell there.
That's true. That's true.
Let's
if I
just
can
zip
get,
around real quick.
if I can get to Waterdeep, I can set up means of transportation there. I'm not sure if I can do it today, but perhaps tomorrow.
We are sadly leaving tonight. We have a deadline. So you could come with us, rest in Waterdeep, and then cast your spell. And then we'll be able to, one of my other mages will be able to teleport you there and back.
We can do that. All right. Ari, what do you think? Sleep over in Waterdeep?
I think it's at least it's a backup plan. I think it's better to have more than one escape, so that if one does not work out, we have an alternative.
Absolutely.
You are a smart man.
We have a plan B.
So, I mean, what's wrong with good old-fashioned running?
Miles, no. Think of, you remember that monstrous beast outside of Nature's Hold?
Yes.
So us going to Lianzhou is like a bunny rabbit trying to attack that beast.
Well, that bunny rabbit's screwed.
That's why I don't want to rely on just running.
Masnal, one day you will make a fine specimen for me.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I don't think that that's a good thing.
Oh, shh. That means a lot, man.
All right.
Even though
As you guys return, it sounds like you're going to Lane Zhao. Is the plan?
Yeah, can I talk to that guy?
Which guy?
The leader of the Lin Ryu.
Haru. Yes.
Haru.
You-
Yeah.
You go over to Haru.
I'll
Lin
bring the
Ryu.
peeps over if they want to come.
What's that?
I'll bring anyone over if they want to come.
I'll go with Bolena.
Okay,
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah, because you are familiar with the Lin Ryu Ralia. Everything he said is absolutely their reputation. They are one of the most honorable families inside of all Jalasia and the Clovis Kingdom. And from your knowledge, they are by far the strongest. They send almost anybody who's anybody sends their soldiers, their sons to train with the Lin Ryu. There's no force that was greater in all the Clovis kingdom and governance than the army of the Lin Ryu. Physically. Magically, that's up for debate. All right.
Magic, you know?
You approach Haru, who is joined by, it looks like 2 young men next to him.
Greetings, Bologna.
Greetings. You are the one called Bologna.
Yes.
Your friend Ophelia sends her warmest and brightest regards.
Yeah, I just spoke with her and asked if she had any will behind your being here. Seems that she did.
She certainly had excellent suggestions, and to those suggestions came many ideas from the nobility inside Clovis.
Um, just glad you made it here. How did you guys make the decision to trek all the way across the mall?
He looks to his sons, and they sort of give him a nod. We had a meeting of our own between the noble houses, and this seemed to be the best course of action forward. We either start anew, or we can try and bring what was old back to life again. The path has made itself clear, and the will of the last remaining bloodline of the Clovis kingdom and royalty has decided for us. So this is where we stand. It seems like these lands are filled with much more promise, as people are coming down with a great sickness where we live.
Is it bad?
It is horrendous. People are starving. People are cannibalizing one another. We don't know what to make of it, but it's very difficult to understand where this came from and so quickly. It all started with the People's Alliance, and we blame that anarchy on them. Without any organization, there is no way to give medical supplies to people. There's no way that the trade routes can be protected, that we can guard the people in need. And people are panicky, and they are violent.
We saw that violence firsthand. We were there in Clovis when the revolution broke.
Heavens. All the blessings upon you for saving our families and what you could of them.
We did what we could.
I lost many brothers that day, and sisters that will never be replaced.
Sorry to hear that, but hopefully now they'll smile on their graves as they see what we do with the Cobalt Alliance.
They will certainly, from whatever the afterlights may behold for each of them, be smiling down on us with the fondness of a warrior spirit.
Couldn't agree more. Question.
Yeah.
Do I know anything about these people?
Yeah, because for who you were, the hunt and all that type of stuff, what I've already told Ralia holds true as well. You're very much aware of the prowess of that place. I don't believe you ever had the chance to visit Manco, but you were very much wanted to. It's an incredible fortress that is known for its architecture and its waterways all the way throughout the system.
Ooh,
The
like
training
Venice.
of a lot of the Lin Ryu deals with a lot of elemental uses of ice, wind, and fire. They typically come out of monk factions. A lot of the people there's a high monk population that believe and buy into this. And I believe you would have heard of the Umbridge Conclave.
Oh, the Umbridge Conclave, of course.
They are simply put, they're basically the League of Shadows from Batman, but good.
All right.
So, like the good Ra's al Ghul,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
Okay, that's hilarious. I know that they're mainly monk based, but do they have any like? Are they renowned for any archery techniques by chance?
Not so much. They're very much like they are competent archers, but they're renowned for all their abilities. They don't have like a particular training. They're known for their trade routes and how they've been able to manage trade routes and protect all and train the best warriors. So their city's very much staked in there. So they could definitely improve your strength, your combat, and stuff like that if you were able to train with them. But specifically, they don't have some like lost art of the bow at the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I was curious about.
Yeah.
I'll just mention when this is over, I hope to venture to what's the city's name again? Crap.
Manco.
Minko.
Manco. When this is all said and done.
I would hope to see you there someday as well. There's going to be quite a mass exodus with our families leaving the Kingdom of Jalasia to start new here. But hopefully the great city of Manco will be able to withstand whatever madness tries to thwart its halls.
From what I know of it, I'm sure it will endure. And I'll give him like that like handshake where like you
Yeah.
grab like their
Oh,
and then you like put the hand in them. Yeah.
easy.
And I'll take my leave.
You got it. The two of you walk back, and the discussion on the floor has organically been brought back to their decisions of what's going forward. You see Corin, the general to Brian's first army discussing the invasion of Neverwinter as they begin discussing out loud. So here's the plan. Pardon me. With our new friends and allies, we make our attack for Neverwinter. The North reinforces what it has. Thanks to Jarlax, didn't he have a different name besides Jarlax, or did they refer to him as Jarlax? Yeah, I swear he had another name. He definitely had an incognito name that I don't remember off the top of my head. So, you
I
guys
think
know.
just Lax.
Lax, thank you.
Captain Lax.
Captain Lack.
Lax, but he is King Lax, and his people have pushed back the naval fleets. After Pinman was a loss, we can try to go deeper down the coast and get a foothold in one of the other kingdoms to help position the North better. It will cause a bubble in a pinch, but this will not be a problem with the Cobalt Wolves' forces so spread out to take nature's hold. They will never want to compromise on that. So at this point, we have an advantage we can use against them. Here, we start our second front, as he points to Neverwinter. Our alliances will walk down from the Frozen Fortress and meet with the people of Clovis for an assault on Neverwinter. At that point, we would hope, in return, to start our third front, as the Blackstaff is nodding. Waterdeep is now going to be pushing through Whitland up into the Kingdom of Freya. The ultimate goal is for all three armies to meet at Tendorf within the next 2 months. There is some excitement in the room, some electricity at the idea of the war being over after nearly 3 years of fighting in 2 months, given a couple of battles. Our greatest concern is that Escott will be able to know what is going on. That he will be able to be one step ahead of us as he has been for the entirety of this war. As with this, we give the green light to the Grey Hand's mission to infiltrate Lianzhou. It is our belief that that is where the Palantir is located and how they've been staying a step ahead of us. Furthermore, if they can free our allies locked within Lianzhou, that will be quite a turning point. As the rest of them nod in agreement. Brian stands up. Then it is decided. This is our plan forward. This is our final upheaval to Tendorf, to freedom, and to a new world, a new friendship, and a new order based on trust and goodwill. Everybody gives a loud like "oorah," and then they clearly have something that they all say that you guys are like mumbling along with, like, "Oh, yep, definitely know that." And just before they adjourn, someone brings up, Now, wait one moment. And they're all like, oh, geez. The plan is a good one. But the persuasive Ari Gilfrey over there brought up a point. He and his chosen destroyed one of his powers, Escott's. What more of this? What secret powers does this Escott have that we should be concerned with? Is there something we can do to specifically depower Escott while we take our foot forward? Brian sort of looks back at Ari, if you have any suggestions.
As many of you Northerners may know, storm giants are beings of great power and great insight. Through our efforts, we were able to make allies with the storm giants once again, and they bestowed upon us a boon to each of us. Mine was the answer to a question. My question was, what is the key to defeating Escott Grandier with all his powers and unknown capabilities? And his answer was cryptic. He talked about needing to dismantle him like a well-fortified wall, or like a lock with many keys. And that they encouraged us that there were four major points and choices that lay ahead of my group. That we were already on our set course through the choices we had made and that we continue to make. That we need to gather further allies to strengthen our efforts. They specifically said continuing to support the North and Brine, the king. And then he noted that answers lay both here in the Frozen Fortress and in Lianzhao. I believe after the events of this meeting, we've answered the question around the Frozen Fortress. So that just leaves Lianzhao, which there may be something hidden there, but there may also be the answer may be taking the Palantir back and freeing the allies that are trapped there. I think if we can do that, and I think if we can take, if we can take Neverwinter, our group specifically has a very close history with the city of Phandalin. If we were to get in contact with them, I feel very confident we would have a chance of persuading them to join our side with their magic forge.
There's acknowledgments and agreements, and people are like, oh, and other people are like, oh, I'm glad he asked that. Rowley, give me an intelligence check with advantage.
Oh boy.
Do it.
No chokerinos.
20,
Okay.
15 plus 5. You know.
Photographic
Easy.
memory. Easy.
Just for you to know, doesn't have to be
Yeah.
public.
Yeah.
All right.
Is the black staff still here?
Yeah. So they now adjourn, happy with this, and everyone just milling about, doing their jockeying. You can tell certain houses like each other more than others. Some just getting on with their Festivus, and people going around now trying to take care of. You see the Frostborn leave almost immediately to go manage all the resources, and the massive amounts of civilians are here. So
All right. I'd like to approach the black staff.
go for it. You approach her, and the Black Staff turns to see you.
Hello. How are you?
Hello. Good to see you again, Ralia. Raising any more
You as well.
corpses?
Not right now, but certainly itching to. Um, I would like to ask you, is there a teleportation circle or something that you know of that I can study? I wish to be able to move freely, but we seem to be under some constraints.
I could give you a teleport circle outside of Waterdeep at one of our outposts, not too far from it. Would that be sufficient enough for you?
Anything is good.
Certainly. If you join me tonight when I teleport back to Waterdeep with Ulazal, I can take you there as well.
That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Question.
Yeah.
Did we as a party get our whole, being scryed issue taken care of yet or no?
Nope.
Okay. I will also seek out the black staff.
Oh.
Let's just make a line.
Hey, you're just good at magic. What's up?
So black staff. I have this black staff.
Now we all understand what it's like to be Hunter every time he has interactions with anybody. You're a doctor? Yeah, well, I'm PA. I got this boil. Now it hurts every time I move. Am I?
Oh
Do
my
they call that
God.
plague? So anyway.
They do that in Parks and Rec, and it's amazing.
All right. So,
Anywho.
yeah, you approach
hello.
Blackstaff with Ralia at your side. Well, at the side of the discussion.
After she finishes her request. Sorry to bother you for something else, Blackstaff.
It's fine. We are at war.
Yeah. So we're under the impression that Escott is always watching us or scrying
Have
us
any of
or
you
something.
succeeded to know?
I don't know. I thought we talked about that when we were in Lax's cabin or whatever.
We when we were in Jarlax's ship, we talked about needing to have a secure conversation,
Yeah.
and we discussed that his method only worked on the ship. And
Yes.
so we only suspect it because we understand the working of the spell. We don't know if he's I don't think anybody's succeeded on actually
Yeah.
recognizing
I'm pretty sure
any
no one has. So
attempts.
you don't know specifically that you're being scryed on. You, the players, are
We're-
fucking sure of it. But
No,
yeah.
we're suspicious because of how well he's been able to keep tabs
Yes,
on everyone and
yes.
stay a step
So
ahead.
at the very least, you know he's scrying on a lot of stuff.
We know he can see things fairly up to basically live stream.
Yeah. Well, I'll
or
just
very
relay
close
that-
to that so that he is
We-
not behind on information.
I'll just relay that we almost died, and the trap that was set seemed too
Too perfect.
well. Yeah, it was too perfect, right? So I'll sort of relay all of that
Yeah.
and the events afterwards that transpired, and just say, do you have any means of keeping us less detected?
Those are very hard to come by, those enchantments right now. I can't say that I do. Everyone that has them, I cannot ask them to relieve them during these times, and it could compromise many of our agents. There is an
Understandable.
enchanter inside Waterdeep, but he has not returned in some time. I'm sure he could make something for you. He goes by the name of, he looks over to Salem. Salem goes, Adam of the West. Adam of the West. He has a westwards enchantments inside the city of Waterdeep next time you're there.
I know someone who's going tomorrow.
She smiles. Me too.
Thank you, Blackstaff. I appreciate it.
No problem.
I'm gonna go tell Ari it was all.
Yeah, you go ahead and tell him all that stuff. Anybody else?
Hey.
I just want to confirm with everybody what we're doing.
Go for it.
All right. So, Lianzhao first. Then we go to Neverwinter and help there. Yes? Is that the plan, or am I missing something?
That is what we are currently
You got it,
planning
bud.
to do.
Okay.
Lianzhou first, follow up on Neverwinter,
Okay.
maybe get in touch with Fadlin?
They haven't said when any of the missions are happening yet, right?
Not
In
yet.
the discussion, I haven't said it yet, but they've talked about it. The times they've been vague at first in case anything was going on. But to you, Brian's able to communicate to the group that it's going to take them a while. So it's probably going to take about a month to get to Neverwinter with the armies.
We got so much
And a
time.
couple extra weeks as well. They're going to have to wait for the forces to get there so they time it just right. So you guys are going to, if you go now, which you should, and at her suggestion, you'll have plenty of time to go down to Lianzhou and then have time to travel over.
Okay, that was the only thing I was worried about.
No, you
Okay.
guys are going to be way ahead of the armies because you're not an army. You're going to be
Yes.
traveling with gray hands as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're gonna be a strike force.
This is why we do Lianzhou first.
We're riding in style.
Ooh. All right. Good.
Like
Good.
gray
Good.
hands.
Good. Okay. So we have time.
Like gray.
Who are the Grey Hand that are going to be joining us in Lianzhou?
That will be up to Vera, Blackstaff, and the Grey Hands. So you can go talk to them and then.
Hey, Blackstaff!
Do you actually approach Blackstaff or somebody else?
I'll talk to Calgary.
All right. As you approach Calgary, you see him sitting there looking to all of you. Hey, Mosnell, how's it going?
Not too bad. How's it feel to be alive?
I'm still not over it, but happy to be alive.
Me too. So I heard. So me and the crew are going on the mission to Lianzhou,
Yeah.
and we heard that Grey Hand were going to be going as well.
Yeah.
We were just curious if there are already people picked out, what the plan is, when they want to go.
Yeah, the decision's been made. We're going to leave tomorrow at dawn.
Oh, perfect.
If you guys are joining, sadly, I have been called back to Waterdeep. The whole dying has repercussions, apparently. So I have to get back and do a lot more stuff and get my orders more in order if I was to die. So that's reassuring, I think. But you'll be in good hands if you join, because leading this party is going to be Salem and two of his trusted.
Excellent.
My second in command should be with Salem during this. I think his name's Excellence.
Name sounds familiar.
The tiefling?
Yep. I'm just trying to get my NPCs up. I've been tracking them on, and it's been great. Yeah, Excellence.
Oh,
In the map, it's way easier. Where I can just search to where you guys met him, and
he
then
sounds like a great person to have.
he's good at what he does.
Well.
Anyway, it's him, and I know Tamazing's trying to talk himself into the mission, but we keep telling him stealth, and he doesn't really grasp the concept. He'll
Yes.
actually be returning to Waterdeep with us, which will be nice to get him back in the rotation with the Grey Hand.
Good. Well, sorry to hear you won't be coming with us.
Me too.
You would have been a good asset, but I know that Salem and his men will be just as good.
Hey, now don't insult me here. But
Well,
he's joking with you.
yeah.
But if anybody is better than me, then it's probably Salem, if I have to admit it.
Well, good. And good luck with whatever you need to take care of.
It's a lot, you know. Even seeing my parents, I have to go say hello to them now because they told them I died. Probably not great.
Yeah. Well, they'll probably be happy to see you alive.
Oh, that's the understatement of the century.
Yes.
You wouldn't believe what my parents are like.
What about Neverwinter? Will I see you there?
Hopefully, but I can guarantee I will be at Tendorf. There's not a person in the world that's gonna miss when we siege that bastard.
Well, I hope to see you again. And I hold out my hand.
You most certainly will, as he holds out yours. And before he leaves, he stops for a second, and then continues going on.
Great guy. Love him.
All right. Anything else?
I just want to talk to Ulazal real quick.
Go for it. And then we'll take our break.
I love the picture.
I love it. The cleric and the
First time.
necromancer.
Ulazal, as I understand it, while I was not with you in your battle versus Escott, there was some level of defeat with him, was there not?
There was some level of what?
Of
Excuse me?
defeat. Defeat.
The feet.
He said
Defeat.
defeat. Are we
Yes,
Austin Powers? Defeat.
We managed to slay him. He was dead, lying in a pool of some kind of chemical, rotting away. Ari was putting a knife in his heart, and when we went to tend to our injured, what I've been told is he came back to life. He died and was resurrected, but then one of his rings was destroyed. There were 5, and now there are 4.
Give me a history check, Ralia, about the ring he mentions with advantage,
Yes.
because it's
Advantage
been
is good because
discussed.
I rolled a 2.
It has been discussed.
19.
19.
Yeah.
Oh wait, history?
Or religion, whatever's higher would work. It was discussed in both.
That's even better than 27.
These have been discussed at nauseum in your circles. These are the rings of power. There are 13 rings of power. Hearing that Escott had 5 of them is uber concerning and definitely like heretic against everything you believe in and what the Raven Queen believes in. Super not cool. One of them being destroyed, big thumbs up. The preservation of these rings and making sure the powers of the hells don't fall into the wrong hands is something that holds a lot of value in your circles. I'd say you're familiar how they're given out. A ring of power is normally given when you offer your soul. For an individual to offer to get 4 of them or 5 of them to be splitting up his soul is very against your religion and is not looked to kindly. And there are various consequences to people who promise their souls to different people, as the ferryman of death is but only the Raven Queen.
Okay. I'll say to Ulazal, I'll explain that I know what it is and kind of not go into depth
Sure.
about it and just kind of explain some top high level stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say I believe that some of my associates may be able to help us. They may know more about the ways of life and death when it comes to these rings. We can take a small trip, maybe a day or 2, to go meet with them. I believe it will help us. I'm not sure if we need everybody, but unfortunately, the only way I know back onto this continent, and I do not even know it yet, will be toward Waterdeep. But I believe that is an important thing that we might be able to do, if you would be so inclined.
That is very intriguing to me. I mean, I don't know how these powers work. The sheer logistics of dividing your soul 5 ways with 5 different devils and them all agreeing to that, because it'd be a really awkward situation if they each didn't know about it. You know, it'd be uncomfortable to say the least.
So
He
Reed,
certainly does not deserve to be alive.
So Reed, with my passive perception of 21, does Escott trigger me? Yes, we need to kill Escott.
Ascot is my trigger.
Yes, yes, it does trigger you. Anytime you hear the word, your eyes and ears certainly perk up. Certainly. I will grant you that one. You have proficiency in hearing the word Escott.
That's a new one.
Yeah, I'll just make my way over and just be like, I think this is definitely something we should pursue. Just out of the shadows.
Very much so.
I think I'm starting to get used to doing it. Doesn't surprise me quite as much anymore.
Enter Zeph.
As if
Literally
out of
the
Aries'
shadows.
shadow, yeah. Aries, what the fuck? You see Zeph, you grew up in the shadows. I was born in it.
Where are these colleagues?
Back home. Obviously there are issues, but I believe we can make a small entrance and an exit rather quickly.
Is there any way we could talk to them first? Make sure that there's safe passage, because I don't believe Lovitz is a very safe place to be.
That is possible. I do not have any means to do that.
I can prepare that tomorrow.
Okay, well, we will speak on that tomorrow then.
Absolutely.
I must have you know that I deal with life and death, and I research into these things very deeply. I hope you do not feel too conflicted with dealing with this.
Life and death is all a part of the balance of things, and the thing that I find interesting is that your faith claims the nobility of the safe passage of one soul from life into death. And it's also interesting that as a part of your power, you use the leftovers so efficiently. As grim as it may be, there is something beautiful about everything being in balance and everything being used, and dust returning to dust as it is always meant to.
I truly appreciate that you know that. That
Yeah,
makes me very happy.
Let's not dwell on it too much.
That was the
Perhaps we should have some more deeper conversations about life.
yeah, that might be fun. That was the best olive branch ever. Both of you get inspiration for that. Both Lolly and
That's
Wilson.
awesome.
Coming together like that, that was terrific. Love it. D10 inspiration. You guys have all done fantastic tonight. But that
You
was
shoehorned that balance in there.
Loved it. Loved it.
That was good. That was good.
It's so easy to do. It's like the Vegas domain.
It's so good. All right. Is everybody cool to go take a break?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's go take
Yes,
a break.
please.
I could.
We return on your trip to Lianzhou. You all know what just happened. Really good moot. Everything went well. The fruits of months and potentially a year worth of labor in game have just paid off with massive alliances that will potentially swing the will of the war if you can find out what in the fuck is going on in Lianzhou. So
Honestly, best mood I've ever been a part of.
Good.
So, you guys end up leaving, or you have the night before you guys leave if you want to do anything else. Otherwise, we can get right to Salem, taking you with Excellence and the other Gray Hand at his side.
So the question is, did everybody want to make the trip to Waterdeep?
Right, we got to do the Waterdeep thing. Not everybody can, because Blackstaff has a limitation on how many people she can teleport.
I have zero interest.
Because I think it was really just me, Uazal, and who were planning to go to Water.
Have fun.
Yep.
Bring me back a souvenir.
No.
All right, so Blackstaff finds you guys the night before and teleports with Ari. You're going too.
Yeah.
All right. with Airy.
Before we left, do we have a way to get back here?
Yeah,
How?
she mentioned that one of her court wizards was going to come back.
Yeah, and banff you back. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, and the night comes. Blackstaff. You guys seek out Blackstaff, and the teleport happens with her, along with some Gray Hand. They teleport into Waterdeep, into a more neutral location than they probably would have normally. But since when they're with people, this seems to be a common backup place when they bring people along. The Gray Hand are about to go on their way as Ralia whispers in the ears of one of them, and they nod their head and they approach Ralia, whispers in one of the ears of Vera Blackstaff, and approach Ralia as they say, Blackstaff wanted me to take you to the circle outside town, so if you will follow me, we can go on horseback and be there and back within a few hours.
Go with him.
All right, so that takes care of that. Ulazal, you are taken by Calgary, who comes back to the Shrine of Tyr, and Ari, you're welcome to tag along.
I was gonna go explore the city.
You can go explore the city. Feel free to explore the city of Waterdeep. The city of Waterdeep has cobblestone streets. You notice golems, clockwork golems, putting together a lot of the wall that was not but 3 days ago, infiltrated by the Kobold Alliance. You notice a lot of people are in very good spirits despite the town being under siege, and the wall is almost nearly repaired already. There is a life out here, and you immediately feel the warmth of Waterdeep as they are experiencing their summer in stark contrast to your winter up north. The warm air is refreshing, and you get bits of the coast smell of the sea hitting you as you roam around the city at night. Ulazal, you at the Shrine of Tyr, you're taken down to another one of the general multi-god areas of worship, and there's different areas and boxes for people to worship gods. You even see the buffalo poop god is allowed to be worshipped here. He has a way of showing up in every city. He manages somehow, some way. But Tyr has its own place, and it looks like to be pretty abandoned at this point. It hasn't had upkeep in probably some time. It's still here, and occasionally people worship, but there is no current clergy maintaining the Shrine of Tyr inside Waterdeep.
Well, this just will not do. I'm gonna dust it off real good.
All right.
I'll be spending the night here.
Noted. Calgary parts ways, and he goes home to his family as Ari. Anything in particular you're looking for in the city? Anything you want to do?
Oh. First things first, I was gonna go check out track down this magic shop that I had heard about.
All right, make a investigation check.
Natural 1 for a total of 3.
As you go around the city, you find yourself standing outside this residence that you're like, this is probably it. This looks like where a magic keeper would have his magical stuff. It makes sense. As a couple guards come over and you hear, "Hey, what are you doing over there on the streets here at night?" It's about 8 or 9 o'clock at night at this point. Oh, what? Yeah, because you guys left at night. What's going on here?
I was just, this looked like the magic shop.
Magic? Are you blind, sir?
I'm not blind.
Well, I think you are, because you ain't standing for no magic shop, am I right? And you hear someone come around the corner. Oh, I think you're right. As you see another one of the guards.
What is this place?
You don't know where this place is. Oh, you must not be from around here. Yeah, clearly not. And you know what? You know what we say to folks like you that aren't around here? Welcome to Waterdeep. Well, get the fuck away. As they come over and they start ushering you away. No, you don't want to be anywhere near that place. That place is where the devil worship occurs.
Nice.
Oh!
You wouldn't believe
That's-
it. The place was a mess not even 3 days ago. The whole these castle lantern individuals were worshiping some devils. The only magic going on there is some evil magic.
Okay. That's... Alright.
If you're looking for a magic shop, there is loads of them. Which one are you looking for?
I had heard something about an enchantment, Adam somebody.
Sounds familiar. Yeah, that's Adam of the West. Oh, yes, of course, Adam of the West. Just jog my memory on that again. Yeah, sure. Adam of the West is enchanting shop. They close around 6 p.m. every night, so probably check them out in the morning.
Okay. Alright then. Well,
Located in this ward, as they say a ward, and you're like, all right, that's a name.
okay. Let's see. I probably would have gotten a sort of like meeting place with the gray
Yeah,
for the gray hand.
yeah,
So I'm just gonna look for lodging then.
sure.
Where's a good place to stay?
Oh, let me tell you, I got a whole bunch of favorites of mine. Yeah, I got some too. No one cares what your favorites are. I'd recommend Friendly Face Like Yours, Yawning Portal Inn, great place. They take care of you good there. I'd stay the hell away from this tavern. Forget the name of it. The bar keeps a real asshole. Name's Trent. Don't go there. That place sucks.
Okay.
There's a couple high places here in the district, and he shows you a couple of them. There's this, it's still up for debate, but you know, they've gotten the goodwill of the city. They call it Lift's Place. That place is pretty nice. But a bunch of showboats live there, so I wouldn't recommend it. If you want something low key, you're probably gonna roll into it.
Who has the better food?
Oh, that's pretty easy. You shut your fucking mouth. He has no taste. Best food in the city. Stay away from raw mates. Whatever you do, if you're looking for food, don't go to raw
Okay.
mates.
Well, more like a tavern where I could stay and get some dinner as well.
Fucker.
Well, it's definitely between the Yawning Portal and Lift's Place. That's for certain.
Okay.
You know what I'd
Okay.
pick? No one cares what you'd pick.
What would you pick?
Oh, since you're asking, and he goes to punch him in the face. And he goes, "Oh, I sure love that Lift's Place. That place is great." He just likes being able to talk to all the celebrities in town. You don't know.
Ah.
A bunch of noble folk frequent that place. You know, the highbrows and all that. Not sure if that's your kind of crowd. Might be if you're brand new to the city.
I think I'll check that out.
Son of a bitch.
Parties are mingling.
Now you leave it. Now I'm punishing you because now I get to decide where you'll be in 3 days. Welcome to punishment.
This is fine.
As you go to make your way towards Lift's Place, Ralia, you enter in towards a fort. As you can see, they are in movement. They are ready for war, and people are determined to get everything ready for moving out through Whitland in the morning. You're taking to one of the teleport circles, and here that is guarded by a hell of a lot of people now. Normally in teleport circles, you'd see, come on, shut up, 2 to 3 people. Excuse me. 2 to 3 people guarding a teleport circle. Now, there's about 10 stationed with 2 mages around it in case anybody shows up unexpectedly. You can take the time to copy the room, take about an hour and a half to get it all down, so you at least are familiar and you now can use the, we'll call it for now, the Waterdeep Outpost teleport circle.
Alright. I will add that.
Yeah. That'd definitely be the best name for it. Not everything has to be on the map. Okay. And then they get you back to the city. Raleigh, as you enter into the city, you are free to find a tavern to stay in as well during the night or whatnot, whatever you choose.
I will try to find Airy.
As you give me an investigation check.
Okay. 17.
17. As you are walking in the streets, you see a general idea of people coming in and out of taverns, and eventually you bump into a Waterdeep officer, and the officer turns to you and goes, I haven't seen your kind around here.
What exactly does that mean?
It means I know just about every face inside Waterdeep. We're getting strangers all night. You believe this? Yeah, I don't believe this, that's for sure. You're not from around here, are you?
Not quite. I'm looking for a friend. He is also new to the city.
Hey, you think it's the guy we met tonight? No way, that'd be too big a coincidence. Absolutely not. Weird
What does he look like?
cloaked looking figure, very shady, standing outside of places he shouldn't be.
That
Wood
sounds
elf.
like him. Yep.
Told you shut your mouth. Yeah, he ended up going to a place called Liv's Place.
Can you point me in the direction?
Yeah, and he points you towards the direction.
Okay.
All right, you keep it off the streets now. Yeah, keep it off the streets. As you and Aerie end up arriving around the same time after Aerie gets lost a couple times in the city, or just distracted because it's such an interesting and large city. Talks of people about the great successes and the heroes of Waterdeep once again showing. There was a monastery you came across as well. You didn't really have a chance to go. It's all closed down for the night, so you couldn't really investigate it. But taking it in, you get a sense of the vastness of Waterdeep, the pride the people have, and it becomes abundantly clear why this city put up a much better fight than Nature's Hold. It doesn't have to do with the people, it's just the resources are just plentiful here, and you can feel the magic in the air. It seems like there is tenfold more magic in Waterdeep than there is in Nature's Hold, in the sense of casters and users, not in the sense of mysticism and like, the ghost wolf here.
And some crazy old guy.
He's not showing up. Unless you want to go fight the Mad Mage, which can be arranged. It won't last long, I can guarantee that. As you enter into Liv's Place, you are immediately hit with this.
There's just a stool with a jar of dust on the front porch.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
No, there isn't. As you guys enter
Malia looks at it. She's like, that is very interesting.
I bet I could bring that back from the dead. You get the sense of this delightful smell that you aren't familiar with. It's got the sense of onions to it as well. The whole place smells wonderful as there's revelry going on. People are cheering and laughing and music is being played. There is a ghost waiter flying through.
What?
That is just wiggity wiggity whack. It's ethereal, and that's jarring to say the least. The other waiters are cheering and all smiles. You see a chef coming out and putting down a bowl at a table where you see another gray hand wearing what you assume to be a gray hand who has a gray cloak, talking with an individual with long hair and a vest who has a bunch of books around him. And you can see people just having a wonderful time in this area.
I'm gonna grab a table for the two of us.
All right.
Flag down one of the whoever's bussing.
As a woman comes over to you, she goes, "Name's Idra. I'll be taking care of you tonight. What would you like?"
We're looking to pull up some lodgings as well as a meal.
Sure thing. That'll be 1 silver per night, and for the meal, it'll be copper.
All right. I want to get.
I'm glad to see that we have good pricing.
Honestly, so
Thank
affordable.
I'll pay for just for tonight for a room,
Okay.
and I want something of whatever smells delicious right now. I want that.
That's our specialty. Ohana made that, and that is the onion rings that they've been coming out, the fried onions.
Ralia is like disgusted by the sound
What
of
was
that.
that name again?
Orhana, she's one of the masters of the house.
Huh? Huh? Huh?
Short little gnome likes to shoot things with arrows.
I wouldn't call her short.
Is she here?
I don't believe so. I think she's out at the moment. I could take a look around.
If you would, tell her a friend from Fanlin says hello.
I will. As she goes back into the kitchen and puts your orders in, takes your silver. Did you pay as well, Ralia?
Yes.
Okay. So she takes the silvers, the coppers off the table, and goes to take care of your orders.
Could you say that name again?
Wait a second. Excuse me for a moment.
What a small world.
So weird.
Some time passes. The music is going on and on. You see an orc woman come in at one point, and you see an orc man with glasses on, looking through his journal and smiling, shake the hand of the individual as they start talking. Another individual is flipping bottles and stuff, and you see people being like, ah, 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 as they're drunk off their ass as this individual is doing all sorts of wondrous displays of skill with the drinks he's mixing at the moment.
Anybody look interesting in this room?
The Gray Hand is probably the most like interesting person because they're stealing your whole gig. Give me a perception check.
21.
No, everything else is seeming pretty normal.
I'll go take a seat with that gray hand and bookish individual. I'll just turn to Ralia. I want to have a quick conversation with this guy over here.
Be my guest.
As you pull out one of the chairs at the table and sit down, you see a familiar face. Somebody you recognize from Skolberheim. You see Ulyrus's mom.
Wait, did I meet her?
You did go in the shop, remember, when you found the detective agency?
Oh.
I believe you and Flamma were the two that met her.
Oh my god.
Good times.
You're very familiar to me.
You see, she gives you a look. You look familiar to me as well.
My eyes were probably a little bit different last. They were completely purple, not like this.
Seems like a millennia ago. As she looks over to the other one, sitting at the table and looks back to you. Was the name Flamma? He was accompanied with an Airy, so you must have been Airy then.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys caused quite a problem.
Yeah, one could claim that.
It's a certainty. I lived it. Wow. What are you doing inside Waterdeep? I hope you're not killing more religious figures.
Oh.
Ooh.
You see Matt next to her being like, he's one of the guys? Yeah? Yeah, he's one of them. Definitely. It was a whole trial, all the papers. Big deal.
There's more to that story. We didn't actually kill him, but that's not my place to argue right now. Anyways,
It's fine.
You're in the Gray Hand.
Yeah, after the Civil War, I had to do what I can and ended up here trying to find my son. Long story short, didn't find my son.
I'm sorry for that.
She just shrugs her shoulders.
Well, we are working with your team office. We're just how we're.
Gives you the same like eyes as you say that.
I don't really know what to call them.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're just working on some stuff for the war up north.
Oh, that's terrific news to hear, actually, because you guys would probably be perfect for killing some psychopathic religious fanatic.
So what's your name?
Nice.
Oh, my name's Matt Mercer. As he goes and shakes out your hand.
Nice to meet you. I'm Eric.
Oh, it's wonderful to meet you. I've heard all sorts of rumors about you. Are you the one with all the markings of madness?
Nope.
God, you sounded just like him, and it looked like you must have some whack tattoos. Sorry, hope I didn't offend you. Just they looked
No,
awesome.
no.
Tattoos.
Some that's come up here and there. Not the same guy.
Gotcha. Good to know. Good to know. And you see Fi look at him and just give him this look like, it's the fucking guy. What are you talking about? You don't forget.
Just so you know, my passive deception is 22.
Oh, easily fooled. Easily fooled.
But Fi is not fooled.
You get the strange
No.
sense, though, that as stealthy boy you are right now, and as deceitful as you can be, there's just this presence in here you can't put your finger on.
I want to look around.
You can try.
Let's-
As you and Matt have a bit of a conversation about the world.
Nope, that didn't work.
Certainly didn't. I can almost guarantee it.
Zeph emerges from the shadows.
So
Walk into
tell
the
me
darkness and
what
hit something.
what can I know about this place? Sounds like this is the place to be.
It certainly is. Home of the heroes of Waterdeep. They are actually... you're Airy, though, right? Oh, but you're not the same Airy. You're right. Okay, so you're not the one with the markings. Sorry, I get it confused. Because the people that own this place are dear friends of mine, and they actually went into across the seas to defeat some demon thing called Orlith inside the mountain that they always talk to. And from there, they went on just amazing adventures. They defeated this incredible monster that they called Ragnorum, and they met Valkyries and have gone on great adventures. This is the home of some of the greatest adventurers in the history of Zenya.
Really? I heard a name earlier. Hana.
Yeah, she lives here.
Are any of them here at the moment?
Pretty sure they left recently. They were off to do one of their own quests. I'm unsure. They're on to their next adventure. The whole war is not very much their scene. They, not to brag or anything, just dispatched Asmodeus from Waterdeep not 3 days ago. So they're like, kind of do their own thing.
All right then. Well, I'd definitely be interested in having a conversation with them at some point.
I'm sure they would
Maybe
be.
I'll
Come
run
back
into them.
anytime, but be careful because they disappear for sometimes years at a time. As he just shrugs his shoulders.
All right then. Oh, and by the way, I'll flick up my sleeve a little bit. I am that air.
You see,
And I'll walk away.
you see Fi just face palm hard as you walk back over to Ralia.
Back over, probably. Huh?
Well, when he went away,
Yeah.
Ralia would have gone up to Liff.
Yes.
Uh,
yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
just introduce herself. Say, hello, I am Ralia Coldshire. Who am I speaking with?
It's wonderful to meet you, Ralia Coldshire. I am Liff, the humble owner of Liff's Place. I have been awakened again through the kindness of the masters of this tavern. It's wonderful to meet you.
I'm just going to cut to the point. What is it that binds you to the mortal plane?
Oh,
Just small talk.
you're direct. Honestly, it's my bar. It was my life's work, and it's a little fuzzy, but some tragedy became the city of this great one, what is now Waterdeep, and I've always been here in service of this wondrous mansion. It was my life's passion.
You're telling me there is a magic in this house that binds you.
I would guess that would be it. Otherwise, I guess I'm not at peace, and not looking forward anytime soon.
Is there anything that you desire?
Just to serve people in my bar.
Can I feel any magical aura?
Give me a wisdom check.
16.
This place reeks of magic. Are you joking right now? There is magic shitting out of the walls. There is magic everywhere. This place has been setting off buzzers like crazy. The plant growth on top of the tavern when you were growing in alone said that's a druid.
Can I tell if there's any presence of the Raven Queen here?
Give me a religion check.
Oh man, it's cocked. Ooh, natural 20 plus 10, 30.
Oh.
Oh no.
There's nothing.
Oh, no, it's really not any.
I can feel.
You are certain there is 0 Raven Queen in here.
Yeah. Sorry.
There was something 50 miles away. I was like, oh, you know what? Over there, though.
There's definitely Raven Queen presence all throughout the city of Waterdeep, but not here. No worshippers in here. No influence.
Okay.
Lame.
God damn it. Oh.
Well, I'll just say, it's just a pleasure to meet you. Have a good day.
He nods his
I'll
head,
just walk
and he's
away.
like, you too. Nice pleasant meeting you as well. You return back to the table as Ari catches you on your way back as he joins the table as well. You both have your food, and eat your food. Tastes really good, despite it sounding awful. You're brought out with some fresh vegetables. There is some interesting cheese that is with the meals, and you have a little slab of meat and a smidgen of onion rings on the plate. It seems like it's a lot of flavors, but the way they're mixed, they end up complementing each other in a way that you didn't think was likely when you were starting the meal. And something about the way the fresh vegetables were put on here, it's unfair. It's like you're clearly not eating healthy, but the dish tricks you into thinking you're eating healthy.
You're eating vegetables.
I'm just trying to get to that magic shop then.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. You guys go to sleep. Next day comes forth. As you go to bed,
Ulazal's just sleeping on the ground.
Ari, give me a wisdom check throughout the night.
Uh-oh.
Wisdom
Does
check
Ulazal
or
have
save?
Check.
Does Ulazal have the bag of holding?
Yes.
Just a wisdom check is a 10.
You felt a strange presence in your room at night, but when you awake, nothing was there.
It's weird.
Morning happens, and you and Ralia leave the establishment. Wave to Matt in the morning.
That was not a perception check, right?
No, it
Okay.
was a feeling. You were just a feeling
Yeah.
while you were sleeping.
Okay.
So, as you guys track down Ulazal, in the morning you find his bum ass laying in this shrine of tear, very on par for clerics of any faith.
So I spent the first, 3 hours of the evening, anything that was there, straightening it up, making sure it all looks good, dusting off the cobwebs, doing all that.
Give me a performance
Put
check.
some. What's that?
Give me a performance check to see if it was any good.
Sure.
Performance.
Using that inspiration, that is I don't even know what performance is on this guy. It's I rolled a 13, got a 10 on the inspiration, and performance is +1, so that's a 24.
You put the other shrines to shame overnight.
Yeah.
You give it a overhaul like no other shrine has seen, especially because you have the cheating divinity presence of Tyr aiding you in your decorations and turning certain things to gold as you touch them.
Let's go, dude. And then in the morning, as I have awoken from my long rest, I'm gonna designate this as a sanctuary.
Okay.
Sit down, perform the ritual, and cast Word of Recall.
Okay. You guys
So
come
it
in
is-
on him while he's casting a word of recall and performing his ritual. Once he finishes, Ulazal notices your presence.
Good to see you. Did everything go well?
Oh, we still have to make a trip to that magic shop. Now we're closed for the night, but
All right.
Ulazal, do you have the bucket of emeralds that I gave you?
Yes. Yes, I do.
I want to take out 1,000 gold worth of those.
Sure. Did I give you a value for how many emeralds you have? Just
Yep.
How many?
I have the weight in pounds of all of the gems we have.
Yeah, I had.
I still have that huge
Cost.
8-pound ruby.
Let's see. The cost in gold, at least of my emerald, was 25,000.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think that's cut in half because I lost half of it during the battle.
Yeah. So you're down to 11,000 after whatever you want to use 1,000 for.
I'm looking to find like a jeweler.
Okay. Easy enough to find. You come across a jeweler inside Waterdeep. What are you looking to do?
So I have this black ceremonial dagger,
Mhm.
and I just want to present it to the jeweler. Do you think that you could fix these gems to this dagger?
Easily. Give me about a few hours and I'll have it done.
Okay.
That'll cost
And I'll
about
give
50
him-
gold pieces to get it.
I'll give him 100 gold worth of emeralds. I'll take that from Ulazal as well for payment.
He looks at that and goes, just nods his head. Doesn't say any more words and gets to it. Okay.
Before you get to work, I have this enormous ruby, and I reach into the bag and pull out the 8-pound chunk ruby. Now, there are obviously a lot of things you can do with this. I would be willing to let you keep half if you turn the other 2 quarters, some into well-cut gems and the rest into dust.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Give me about a week to get through this.
Oh, okay. Well-
We can return if we need to.
Certainly.
Just give me your name and we will come back.
Name is Jarton.
Jarton.
Jarton Gemcrawler.
Everyone loves a good Jarton.
What's the name of the store?
Gemcrawlers.
That makes sense.
Jarton's gem crawlers. They crawl in your gems.
But what about your jewels?
Oh, those are different. Those
Our
are called
hopes.
jewel tools.
Oh, while we're at a jeweler, do you have any diamonds that I can buy?
Certainly. They'll cost you. I have only the finest cut ones, so they're going to run about 600 gold pieces a piece for each of them, and I have about 3 in stock right now. For the bigger ones, the 1,000 cut diamonds, we have one for 1,200, 1,500, and 2,000 gold. I have 3 more of those, so 6 total diamonds available to me.
I'm gonna lean over to Ulazal. Hey, so a lot of those gems we got over in Yongguk, we could just use those as trade.
That's a good idea.
We have a lot of gems from Yongguk.
We really do. You know, it seems that today is your lucky day, my friend, because we have just gotten back from quite the adventure. I reach into the bag, pull out let's pull out the azurite first, the 1 pound azurite.
Yeah.
I'll pull out the malachite. I'll pull out chalcedony.
He's gonna crap his pants.
You see him with his little like jeweler spectacle on as it just drops out of his eye. I don't. This doesn't. You can tell he feels visibly unsafe now. Are you folks a part of the Xandathar Guild?
Oh, no.
What? What is that?
Just a group of thugs around here that's not smiled
No.
upon.
Oh no, you don't understand. We found these underground.
How cool.
He is really weighing the options of running away right now. Oh,
You can just take the stuff.
just found him.
We just want to trade.
He goes to the front of the stop and locks the front door. Just nobody else coming in. I'm certain. I'm not going to do any harm to this group. As he comes behind the desk and he's like, "All right, what would you want the diamonds?
I would very much love the diamonds.
All right, I'll give you the 6 of them for. It's basically going to run you almost all of the gemstones you have for all 6.
All of the ones that I put on the table?
What's in the bag of holding too? Like how much you have a fuck ton. So basically, game mechanic wise, your DM's trying to deplete the gigantic storage of gemstones you have, and for 6 revivifies.
All right, I will. I'll take out everything except for the rubies, which he's going to be working on.
Yep.
In exchange for how much diamond?
All right. I'd say you guys can still keep like 100 gold pieces of each of the gemstones that are left behind in this process, but you are getting a 500, a 600, and a 700 gold piece fine cut diamond. You're getting a 1,000, a 1,500, and a 2,000 fine cut diamond, and you're getting diamond dust as well. And that's going to clear out basically all your resources, including the emeralds.
I am very happy with that trade.
While you're at it, you don't happen to have a small silver bird cage, do you? Or could you make one?
I actually do have plenty of those. That is a often requested item of nobles in Waterdeep. You can have it for free, part of this exchange, or just part of it.
That is fantastic. Thank you.
And he gives you. How big do you want it?
It's 100 gold worth.
Yeah. He brings out a beautiful looking golden cage as he hands it off to you. It's made of probably or lined with like 24 karat gold. He gave you the best one he had. All right. Is everybody happy? Did you clear out the bag of holding for most of the gold, or most of the gemstones, minus you can keep 100 gold pieces of each gemstone that's left. That you all the names of it. And Ralia, you still have of the emeralds, you took out 1,000 of them, right? And you affixed 3 of them to there, and you paid for 100, so you still have the 1,000 gold pieces worth of emeralds. There's still about 100 to 200 gold piece worth of emeralds inside the bag of holding at this point.
Works.
And then I'll mention to him with that ruby stuff, it might be a little bit potentially before we get back. So just as
it will be here waiting for you. I will not be giving this away to anybody. I want no problems with any of you.
After how you treated us, you have nothing to fear from us.
Very happy to hear that as he's nearly in tears. His hands are definitely trembling with every stone he's picking up and looking and putting back down. As he pushes all the stuff into very secure vaults that he has throughout the jeweler's shop, he goes back and opens the store, so he's more comfortable that people aren't just going to come in and see all these gemstones out and about.
Was he able
Bye,
to
Ben.
fix the dagger like immediately, or is that gonna take like a day?
It's gonna take a few hours. You guys just
Okay.
overwhelmed him, so just
Yeah.
come back in a few
Just
hours.
come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a individual, one of the court mages of Waterdeep under Blackstaff, does meet up with your group and let you know that they're going to take you back up to the Frozen Fortress at the request of Blackstaff, and they're just waiting on when you're ready. So we can easily just pass the 2 hours. You can pick up the affixed gemstones in the dagger, and then be on your way.
Gotta go to Adams. Right.
Oh, sure.
Yes, we wanted to go to Adams.
All right. As you enter Adam of the West's shop, you see this magnificent shop on display where out in front it says Westward Enchantments. And there's this clockwork mechanism going on where it looks like one individual comes out one way and then comes out differently on the other end. There's this purple smoke coming out of the front of the shop. As you enter, there's these origami birds flying out and about, these tiny golems going and picking up products and putting them inside their mouths, as an orcish figure that you did see the previous night at the bar is behind the desk inside Waterdeep, who says, "Greetings! Welcome to Westward Enchantments."
Hello once again. I saw you at that bar last night.
Oh, that's my second job. Probably caught me
Ooh,
working hard. Or hardly working.
busybody.
Sorry, but...
Well, we are of the adventure sort, and we were looking to inquire about what you have in stock, magically wise. Our particular interest, if there is anything, is something to prevent prying eyes upon our group.
We do have something like that in stock. The majority of the stock is out due to the war, and we do apologize for that. Venturing stuff has gone by the far side, or the wayside, because we can't keep up with demand. But if you have any kids, we have tons of magical items for kids that they absolutely adore during this time. Regardless, I'll go get that ring, as he goes into the back of the store and emerges with a ring. This is a classic ring of protection, and will run about 50,000 gold pieces.
And what specifically does it do?
You cannot be... Let me get another one. It's called the ring of protection, but that's not what it's called in D&D Beyond. Big win! This ring here won't allow anybody to read your thoughts or be able to keep up on your locations through typical scrying magic. It's a great way to stay away from prying magical eyes. You pissed off an assembly member? Well, this is the best way to go under the radar. Most magical creatures have some sort of version of this. Just keep out of the gazing eyes of the Blackstaff.
I'm gonna turn to our party.
Yep.
50,000 is a lot.
We still have a lot of gems.
Do we have 50,000 gold?
I don't think so. Honestly, I'm not sure. 50,000 does seem steep.
We could always do it for a favor. If you can work, Adam of the West has a whole list of things he's looking for in order to give these items away.
What kind of things is he looking for?
Kind of things.
One of which I doubt you'll be easily come across, but we are in dire need of Tears of a Valkyrie. If you can get any of that, that would be helpful for his enchantments. Another thing he's looking for is the bones of a chimera. Those creatures typically pop up here and there and can be used for some incredible spells and enchantments. And the last thing he was looking for, I think that's where he went last. I knew it. He was looking for some old tomes. Any of those magical tomes pre-collapse. Very interested in that type of stuff right now.
Okay.
Well, wouldn't you happen to know it? I got some Valkyrie.
What a weird coincidence.
You definitely don't
If only we scooped some up from that Moot. Should have known.
Okay. I have a thought if we can perhaps put this exchange on hold for a moment. For a bit, I should say.
Sure.
If I'm gonna take my companions. So I'm wondering if there's any way we could potentially convince our colleagues from here, Blackstaff and like, to perhaps help us hold on to the item as a sort of loan.
I mean, you can try. I don't think she's very interested in that, but we can try.
I mean,
If you help.
we're practically in their service already. We don't have the ability to afford it outright at this time, but I think having it is vital to our success. It's an argument we could try to make.
What if we're just honest with them? Tell them, we're going to use this in protection of your city. If you would consider it a noble donation to our cause, we'll give you what we can, and when we come back, hopefully to a safer city, we'll pay the rest.
But perhaps he would loan it to us for a small fee.
Can we lease it?
Installment payments. Installment plan.
Rent with option to buy?
Oh my god. You blew all of your fucking gemstones on the first pretty thing you saw, and then you didn't realize you couldn't get
Hey,
everything.
I'm gonna
that
save
was
some
more
money.
worth it.
Dude, I was thinking that.
Those are gonna be more immediately. This is
I was
gonna
like-
be helpful, but
It's like, wow, they bought all the gemstones. Cool.
Sorry, boys. No. Actually, give me a persuasion check. Go ahead and roll one persuasion check
I'll do it.
at disadvantage because they have a policy of not loaning magical items.
I'm giving you guidance.
Okay.
Turns out, Aries quite persuasive.
I am very persuasive. But we'll see if that's enough. 18.
That's pretty dang high for disadvantage.
All right, it's a natural 19 on my end.
Oh,
-2.
No, not even a little bit. Grit is very charismatic, and he has dealt with people like this for a very long time.
Yeah, whatever.
Now,
My
I
friend,
appreciate you can.
I must interject before you say that. We are here at the behest of the Blackstaff, if you must know, and it is important that we have this so that we can help the city.
Again, I feel your plight. If it was up to me, I'd give
I
it
can
to
go
you.
get her if you want me to, and she would be very persuasive, I'm sure.
Honestly, if you get the Blackstaff in here, be my guest. If she tells me to give it to you by order of Waterdeep, it's yours.
I'm
But-
gonna walk outside.
Yep.
I leave immediately,
Okay.
and I'm going to cast Disguise Self.
All right. All right. He's like, okay, but we can't loan these out, and if we do, Adam has protective wards on these things. So if you don't do the transaction properly with me, they tend to kill the stealer within 2 or 3 days.
I walk back in,
Yep.
and I say, "What is this noise that you're not helping my heroes?"
Give me a deception check with disadvantage.
Nailed it.
Because you but waited 5 minutes at best.
18. She can teleport.
She can teleport. Okay, that rolled off the table because I'm throwing my dice at how ludicrous this is. Oh, fuck. Oh,
18 is a 10
18.
plus 8.
I tied you. What happens in a tie? Oh, God.
Beats it.
I think Ulzal then gives me guidance and I get +1.
Oh, absolutely.
Sounds like he should have did that beforehand. Oh, you see him coming over and be like, Blackstaff. Well, you see him pause for just the littlest moment. And he reaches below the desk and he takes out some glasses and he puts the
Oh,
glasses
no.
on.
Oh no.
And you see him just go, "You're funny. I'll give you that. You're funny."
All
But
right,
no,
we'll be
seriously.
back in a little bit.
All right,
and
yeah,
I
go get
push
the real
them out of the
Blackstaff.
store.
Yeah, you see him, and you guys leave the store.
Man,
Good
this-
effort. Good effort. I like it. It was great. But
We're
just
gonna
not
make
quite
our
enough.
way to the probably we'd be told to meet at the Gray Hood, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But aren't you a
Meet over
changer?
there.
Or is he
Huh?
what?
Nothing. Would it have worked if Ralia had just used her natural shape-changing ability? Is that technically on magic?
She's not a shape changer.
Oh, okay.
She is now.
Although technically, if it's a, am I hitting the DC? It's kind of.
Wonky.
Either way, we're going
We can do
over.
a
We're
roll
going
off.
back.
All right. So you guys end up teleporting back after you've gotten your knife and everything
Well,
like that.
we didn't
Oh,
teleport
you're
back.
at the Gray Hand. Okay, you're at the Gray Hand. Calgary
at
is
the
there
Gray
to greet
Hood.
you as you guys get in there.
So we have a request.
Oh,
This is really only something that we might potentially have to run through by the Blackstaff.
oh boy! You just see Calgary starting to go. Oh, Jesus.
Mhm.
So there is an item there
Yeah.
that would help us prevent from being scryed upon,
Okay.
which I think is a vital effort, our war effort, considering we are persons of interest to Escott Grandier.
Sounding it's all good to me so far.
She is a very powerful person and can easily find us, so it's not like we could abscond with the item.
Sure. Okay.
Is there any way we might be able to borrow the item under loan specifically for the war effort under order by the Blackstaff?
Oh boy. You do know, or you probably don't know, there was a lot of laws passed about this sort of stuff in Waterdeep since mages typically do this sort of bullshit in Waterdeep. I mean, the planar shift doctrine is a big issue here, and I think you underestimate the amount of political nonsense we would have to go through to loan out a ring if you can't outright compensate the buyer for it. I mean, you didn't offer like trade if you can't afford it.
I mean, there are some tasks we could do
All right.
potentially. Unless you happen to know where we could find a Chimera
Fucked if I know.
or a Valkyrie, and that will cry for us.
That's a definite no.
Those were, or any potential place to find pre-collapse documentation.
I heard somebody had a. I think Salem had a contact that knew a whole bunch of stuff about pre-collapse stuff. I could always look into that for you.
Because those were some of the trades. I don't know how soon we'd be able to accomplish those tasks.
Yeah, probably way after the war's over would be my guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could make a persuasion check.
Guidance.
Dirty 20.
Yeah, I'll ask her, but I don't think you'll get the response you want.
Or an alternative option, if probably not going to be acceptable from her end, but it is a very powerful item.
Oh boy.
If the Grey Hood has need for that kind of item,
Oh boy.
purchasing it themselves,
Oh boy.
and then it going through us for the duration of this mission.
How much does this thing cost?
50,000?
You see him turn over to the mage. They're all yours as he just walks out of the room. Make sure they get there in one piece, and you hear him going downstairs into the basement.
I don't think that worked out as well as he had hoped for.
I think it might be easier almost if we could find, like a script or something that we could learn from. I don't know. There are ways of getting around divination. I don't know. 50,000 is a lot.
It is. But it's also a permanent enchantment.
There's a spell called non-detection.
Yeah.
As Bologna, Mosnell, and Delphina have already left this morning with Salem and his crew. They've been on horseback for probably about 3.5 hours now.
Gotcha.
Are you guys teleporting back to the north, or are you going to chill out Waterdeep some more?
My
Yeah,
to
we
go.
should probably do the mission.
You guys teleport back to the north, into the Frozen Fortress, find out they've left you behind because they weren't hearing much from you. And you guys try and make up the time. They give you the horses and the gray hand that was left behind to bring you guys with them to their rallying point. As the day goes on, you guys end up catching them, and you settle in for your first night of travel.
Nice.
Nice.
Go ahead and take a long rest if you need it. And then the next day begins as you guys start venturing forward. Mosnell, you can make a survival check to help as you guys are riding towards Layan Zhao. Salem will make as he's made conversation to talk with the crew while you guys have been traveling to get to know you all and have a better time about everything. Share stories. And share
19.
experiences. All right. Salem, they're getting pretty lost with all the snow in the north, and you're able to guide them on a faster path. As the group is going through back channels, avoiding what you see is lots of the war-torn world around you. You notice on your travels villages occupied by the Cobalt Alliance. You can see active disturbances going on and animals, constant migration. But what hits you guys a little more is there's a caravan you come across right in your sights, and you actively see a bunch of cloaked Cobalt individuals in these white and blue cloaks just in the distance as you guys are basically in a forest next to the caravan that's being sacked right now, and people are begging for their lives as you see firebolts coming out of hands of these Cobalt
Burn them all!
soldiers and killing the individuals that were trying to escape north.
How far away are they?
How far away are they?
I'd say from the tree line, we're talking probably about 50 feet, 60 feet from you guys.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, bruh.
How many of them are there?
You notice about 12, I would say. They're not all close together or anything.
So, how many magic wielding appearing individuals?
Give me a perception check.
Okay.
Oh, I'm just
That-
gonna cast a magic.
That is a 26.
Appears all 12 are magical.
Does anyone look like a captain?
Absolutely.
So that person,
Yeah,
I'm gonna pull out my longbow,
go for it.
Same.
and when it looks like we're ready to launch an ambush,
Go ahead.
Uh,
Go ahead. And
I'm
roll
gonna
attack.
cast magic weapon on mine at 4th level.
And are you attacking the same leader-looking individual?
I'll sort of confirm with Ari before we fire. Yeah.
I'm aiming for whoever looks like a captain.
Yeah.
I
There's...
will do the same,
All right.
and I will cast
This guy's
Disintegrate.
dead. So dead. He's so dead.
Go ahead and roll attacks, and I'll do the saving throw for the individual.
Dex.
Dex?
I'm gonna cast Brutalize on my axe.
All right.
So
Okay.
probably advantage because we're hidden.
Yeah.
So that is gonna be a 24 to hit, or 23 to hit for my longbow attack.
Yep. It hits.
Okay. Oh boy. What is my sneak attack dice now? 76. Perfect.
Oh, nice, dude. That sound.
What'd you roll, Bellona?
22 and 23.
Both hit.
Neat.
This individual in the blue and white cloak is overlooking as all the others of various heights and sizes are going through, picking off, fire bolting, and electric shocking all the people in this caravan as they're taking supplies. It just hands crossed, overlooking all this.
40 piercing damage.
All right. Bellona, what's your damage?
I'm doing the math. Hold on.
Sure. The arrows launch simultaneously with Ari and Bellona. They enter into the back of the Cobalt leader, and you just see arrows just enter in, and then you see Ralia just point,
18.
and that periwinkle light zips out, and as you go, before you even get a breath out, turns to dust.
Get
Alright.
fucked.
He's uber dead.
He's so dead, nobody notices he's even gone yet.
Again.
All right.
Do any
Second
of his
shot.
items drop onto the floor?
The disintegrate.
If they're magic items, they don't get destroyed.
Sure. So there's some
That's-
something definitely fell in the dust.
Something dropped.
It's the power dust. Just
Can I try to get closer without being seen?
Not
Like, is there?
No, it's a
Okay.
clearing.
Okay, so then no.
Well, it's been the
It's
herd,
a
man.
travel road, so the road's traveling right alongside a forest
Okay.
line.
Is there anyone that's isolated or like in the back that wouldn't be noticed if they got murdered?
Yeah, definitely. They're all spread out right now.
I'll like point one out to Ari.
I'm
About that
yeah.
Sure.
We'll just both keep hitting the same people.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna cast Silence, like right behind where the group of them are, so that when the people fall backwards unconscious, they don't make any sound.
Sure. Absolutely.
And also,
That's cheeky.
the guy that I killed, or the guy that disintegrated.
Yes.
He's
Very
within
dead.
60 feet, right?
What's that?
He's within 60 feet of me, right?
Yes.
Okay. When he dies, I'm going to use my reaction to cast Soul Cage.
Mm-hmm.
And I entrap his soul in a tiny cage.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
She got her bird. She needs something to fill it with.
You got it. You have one soul inside that cage now.
Mm-hmm.
Bro.
It will last for 8 hours. We'll get to that. You just see her pull out this cage and like wave her hand around, and as his body just disintegrates, his soul, you can see it come out of his body, and just she takes it into her hand and just traps it in the cage, puts it away.
This is horrifying.
I'm just gonna give her a weird sideways glance and just focus up on the next person.
She just gives you a nice little smile.
Of course she does.
So the next shot is a 26.
We have an 18 and a 32.
An 18 and 32 both hit. And what? An Ari.
26.
All right.
Damage.
Way too much damage again.
Okay.
Let's see.
We're playing this pretty well, I think.
22 damage.
Okay. Belona, you release your arrows. They fire off into the back of this hood as Eri brings his bow back and releases yet another one into this shorter individual. There's a bunch of short ones, and then there's a bunch of really tall ones. It seems like various races are mixed among these casters.
$37 piercing.
How do you want to do this?
All you, bud.
It's just like through the neck, through the trachea, silent. He just like right through the carotid artery, so he just bleeds.
Silence
Oof.
from Ulazal as it hits the ground. There are 10 left.
We're gonna just keep going until they notice, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and make for each of them. Just start making your attack rolls. I'd say we'll do them in groups just so it doesn't take forever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's say for the next 5, because you now killed the 2 strongest ones. Let's say roll for the next 5. So you'll do 1 attack for 5 and 1 attack for 5, and that'll for the rest of them. If anybody else has any more ideas. As Salem is just
So
watching.
that's a
with
19 for me.
Okay. That's going to hit them all.
We got. I'm rolling 2 attacks because I can do attacks
Yeah,
per action.
Yep.
So we're gonna have a 29 and 21,
Sure.
and then I rolled 2 7s here, so that's just a dirty 20 for the other 2.
All hit. How do you want to do it?
I figured.
Yeah.
All right, so for damage we got.
So that's a 29 for me.
21 damage for the first 5,
Yeah.
and then for the second 5, it's gonna be 19.
All of them hit the ground. You guys just lay arrows into each and every one of these Cobalt mages, and they are no longer killing anybody. Any of the survivors, it looks like there isn't many survivors right now of this caravan. It looks like they were cleaning up the very last of those who were alive. Anybody that fled got far away from the attack.
All right, let's go see what they had.
Sure.
I'm gonna loot as many arrows as possible.
Add me as well.
I'm gonna go up to where the captain guy was.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an investigation check for the captain. Eri, go ahead and give me an investigation.
ashes.
You can go up to the first person you killed, and Bologna, you can go to the second one.
20.
What?
20.
21.
Okay. 21.
Investigation, you said?
Yeah.
17.
Okay. In your pile, you see a magic +1 dagger is on him, and there is a ring on him as well. You can add a ring of protection.
Ooh.
D&D Beyond, just a normal ring of protection. I'm pretty sure that just helps your AC.
Ooh.
That's Luke, because he was first in the order. Now, Eri, as you turn over the individual you shot through the trachea, you said, and had him bleed out,
Yep.
give me a history check.
It's your dad.
15.
He looks a little older, but you recognize this as the halfling Carp from Fandlin. Bologna, the next one you check, appears to be a halfling child that you killed. As you check each of these bodies, you notice these are all children.
That's gross. But they were clearly like bring other people, right?
It looked like that, and that's where we'll end this week's episode.
What the fuck?
Man. I just want to be a hero.